Okay, we're on air.
Just putting my camera on. I'll insult you face to face.
Okay, lovely. I appreciate that. Okay, well, you're on air, and welcome to Cat Earth on steroids. So if you want to say something, I hope you continue on in the vein that you started off when you entered Discord, where I guess the conversation wasn't particularly light or flowing, but you came in certainly with all guns blazing. So that's fair enough.
Yeah, I came in to tell you your sauce.
Right, so do you want to go on camera? Do you want to go, how will I get you the link?
This has been live. I'm just telling you.
So how will I get you the link? I don't want to post it in Discord here, right? So how will I get you the link, Cat Earth?
What?
How will I get you the link?
If that's what you want.
Yeah, I do. How will I get you the link? I don't want to post it openly. So can you post your YouTube channel in Discord, and then I can post it to your private messages?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, man.
Give me a second. Getting ready, mate. I'm getting ready.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, doll myself up, put a bit of makeup on.
That's cool. I'll just come as I am, man.
Ignore all emotional strings that have left, still tied to him. He's getting ready to ignore all of them.
That's a good point.
And I'll tell you something for nothing. If you carry on in the same vein, and you can look at a man. Yeah, but if Cat Earth, if you carry on the same. If you carry on in the same vein when you're looking a man in the eye, Cat Earth, I'll have a better respect for you. That's the truth.
Face to face. I'm quite happy to do it.
Right. Okay. So my camera is. Hang on. Give me your. Did you put the link in the chat here to your channel?
Will you read it? Because you didn't read the bit where I put my link to my face, did you? Are you sure you're going to be able to get it, Pete? Are you going to be all right with that?
Well, can you just post the link to your channel right at the end at the.
So much research, man.
Okay, at the end, can you just post the? Can you post the channel? You're on air in my channel now, Cat Earth. So can you post the link?
Hang out in a minute.
Yeah, can you post?
About flat Earth videos is that they're at least no flat Earth video is under 10 minutes long, and usually it's more like 45 minutes long. So it's no wonder that it takes them all day to research something.
Well, you've been researching since you've been 12, Lewis. But can Cat Earth post the link to his channel here? The way I can post the hangout and he can go on camera.
Yeah, mate, it's all right. If I put your stream up and I'll post it in your chat because I don't even believe you can read
it. Doesn't take 45 minutes to understand the truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
I probably won't post this
in your chat box. There you go.
In my chat box.
You need to click on.
Okay. In Discord. Okay.
Just click straight on it. And like.
Take some figures to weed out the lies.
Yeah, you're mental as well, love. I don't know what you're about. You're fucking crazy. Yeah, whatever.
Shining it up.
Yeah, I think you're a troll.
Shining it up.
But whatever.
Shining it up.
Yeah, being random is not helping you. But apparently it is, because everyone here apparently just wants to chat all day.
No, she's shining.
Cat Earth, are you talking about my chat box in Discord here? Because I don't think I'm seeing any messages.
Yeah, keep polishing it, mate.
Okay, Cat Earth, I'm asking you, are you talking about messages within Discord here? Because I'm not seeing anything.
No, it's in your stream, Pete, in your chat box. I'm the only person who types anything. I'm sure there'd be a bunch of fucking dodo loving retards following. I'm the first comment.
Okay, I'm not finding it. Right, hang on. I'm not finding it.
You know, this is your research, Pete, isn't it? It's not very good.
No, I'm not familiar. So can you? I'm not finding it.
Familiar with YouTube. After how many years?
Oh, in YouTube. I asked you, was it in Discord? I asked you, was it in Discord, man? That's fine. That's fine. Hang on. Under my own messages, you mean then? Right? No, I haven't. Under my own messages, right?
No, in your chat box of your stream. No, the live.
Oh, tonight. Okay, the stream that we're on tonight. Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize you were talking about that.
What do you say? I mean, I can't even find a message, man.
Don't forget, Pete, I'm still waiting for your evidence that the Vatican controls the news agencies.
Yeah, sure, man.
I'm still waiting for your evidence or justification of that claim.
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
Don't forget that. I'll remind you about that in a minute. I'm sure.
Right.
Oh,
okay, I see what you mean. Okay, no problem.
Don't forget the world hasn't ended. It's supposed to end this year. But...
Yeah, but this year isn't through yet, right? And the world, as we know it, has already ended, and we feel fine.
Nice excuse.
Oh, yeah, the aliens are on their way, and Nibiru is, you know, they're sucking slugs out there. Wow.
Yeah, man. Nibiru, aliens, blah, 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 blah.
Wasn't
You need
much
to get a job, Debbie. You need a job, Debbie. You need a real job. You need to go out and do something with your life.
Yeah, I do have a job. I do have a job.
I doubt it.
Don't worry about
I
me.
really
Don't
doubt
worry
it.
about me. Worry about you.
No, I'm not worried about you. I'm just giving you advice.
I would really like to know how you
Completely
debunk the flat earth. I really like to see your.
It's fucking easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah, I really like to see
The
that.
problem is, I don't
really
talk
like-
about it about
I'll check you out
that
on YouTube.
because you either want to learn it or you don't. I don't care.
I'll
I
check your
don't
YouTube
care
channel.
whether you think yes.
Then why sit here?
Think you're a retard.
Why come here then? Why come here to argue this?
I just came in here because I just had enough.
Right,
You know what?
I will have a worse night. So what? I just your.
No, it's actually improving my night.
I send you the link, Cat Earth. So
Hey,
Yeah.
I'd be interested to hear what you just went through. Oh my god.
Oh my god, I'll tell you about it in the Discord, but like, yeah, obviously not here.
well, Cat Earth, I send you the link, man. So off you go. And as I said, I hope you pick up in the same vein that you left off, right? So whenever you're ready,
Don't worry, it'll be worse people.
let's go. So let's go.
Let's go. It's gonna be insanely easy.
Off you go, man. So the minute I see your face on camera, I'll put on my own camera.
See my face on camera, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. No, you're going to show your face on camera by consent, right?
Oh, Qatar wouldn't say this to me. Real life, it's a fucking word.
So let's hear you. Let's hear you talking about my son and everything. Let's hear you talking about all these things.
It'd be a backhand, but, you know.
No, let's hear you. And as I said, I'd have more respect if you could carry on in the same
I
vein.
don't care about your respect, Pete, because you have no respect for anyone.
I don't care that you don't care. I'm talking about from myself, my own point of view.
People start talking, please. This is not confusing enough.
Okay, well, we're leaving now. I'm going to talk with Pete and hang out on cam because it was
Off you go.
fun anyway.
I want to watch this. This is on Pete's channel, right?
Yeah, it's on Pete's, mate.
You need the link, Lewis?
I'll grab a link for
You
you.
find that easy enough. It's broadcasting live. But anyone listening, let me just reiterate, Cat Earth.
Beat around the bush. Let's not be idiots.
Okay, well,
Fucking be real.
well, I thought you were coming over here, Cat Earth. So
Well, you meant to be gone. The rest of us, we're on the way, but you're.
okay, well, hang on till you get over here, Cat Earth.
Yeah.
I can leave this streaming. I can stay on Discord if you want, or I can quit. But hang on, I can stay on Discord or I can quit. It's up to yourself in Discord. I mean, would you rather I quit and did this with Cat Earth? It doesn't matter to me. Okay, so
Yeah. Go onto your stream. Go do your shit, Pete, with Cat Earth 1-on-1.
all right, I'll leave Discord then, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, great. Thanks. Bye.
Great stuff. It's great. It's great. Hi, Pete. It's me on webcam. Are you fucking satisfied yet?
1 minute now, man.
Hey, yeah.
Hope you can hang on there. Let me just make sure my camera is working.
Yeah, it's difficult stuff, Pete. I know what you mean.
Well, it normally comes on, so maybe it's just switch. Okay, here we go. Oh, yeah.
Maybe the Earth's flat. Oh, look. See how my camera's good quality and yours isn't. Just saying.
Mine is not too bad. Let me just move back.
It's fucking awful, mate.
I can turn it up to. It probably could do with
This is 100% real now. I'm not
higher
bullshitting.
quality. All right, 1 second while I just turn up the camera to 480. So or more than that, 720 is it?
Go for it, Pete. Got 1080, mate. Got fucking 4K, mate. Let's do it.
If I can. So here I am, Cat Earth, old man as I am. Can you just
I'm
for
not young.
the purposes of people who might be tuned in, and I don't expect anybody to tune in, but there are people who tune in. Can you just sort of explain what's going on here and why you're on camera? And I appreciate that you are actually gone on camera, man. And now let me go back. I can just go out of my other camera and then go back to this camera.
Okay, so I'm here because Pete is constantly saying, "Oh, you're all fucking cowards and you won't go on camera." When I've been on camera on his stream before, he doesn't remember it. I've posted a picture of myself in the debate chat box. He doesn't watch it, and that's why I'm here. It's very simple. Just
Well,
I'm not scared to show my face. You think I'm scared to show my face? I'm not.
Well, I asked you specifically to go on camera this time when you are speaking all of this sort of negative angry,
Yeah,
bitter,
angry. Yeah.
personal stuff against what I view myself as a man who is trying to find the answer, trying to find the truth.
Pete, you just called me a fucking bully, yeah? And you're talking about, oh, I'm talking personal stuff. You say I'm bullying people, but you're the biggest bully I've seen in this whole fucking thing, quite frankly. You've got no problem being absolutely fucking disgusting to people. You are absolutely terrible. And I don't hold it against you because you are completely mentally bonkers, but you are horrible to people.
Can you give me an instance, please?
You've said things to me. You've said things to loads of people. Okay, Patty Steer is obviously one of the most obvious ones. I mean, you're disgraceful, and you're a hypocrite because when you've been face to face with her, you've said nothing. I've seen you in chats. You said nothing, but you will be disgusting to her when you're not. So for your that's what I'm saying. Your compliment, your insult against me, you wouldn't do this in real life. These are all projections, Pete. It's you who wouldn't say this shit in real life to people.
I've said this.
She has
been banned.
No. Well, I haven't seen. I've seen you sucking up
You're
to her,
mistaken
mate.
there. And remember this, that the issue was brought to me and to my attention, first of all, by Antonio Subrans, right? Who's another leading flat earth.
Oh, and you believe him, do you? You think he's full of truth?
Hang on. It's not about believing. Of course, first of all, you meet with disbelief, but yet you find out then that they're coming from someone who is intimately involved with somebody who is a figurehead in one sense, in terms of flat earth.
Do you know what it is, mate? It's drama. They just create drama. They're trying to keep this whole show going because it's boring.
I know
flat Earth is not flat. All you guys, you're probably just mentally crazy and don't get it. The rest of them are fucking mugging you off, mate. They're keeping the show going. Do you not see how dumb this whole thing is?
I'm the first to call out all of these people, Alex. I say you.
Just call out everyone, mate.
And the flat Earth side, they're on this one side, right? I'm the first to do these things. So
no, you're not the
You
first.
think I've been in what position you think
you're not the first. Everything you've ever said has come from someone else. You don't. I mean, maybe the creators on Taika or whatever your nonsense is. Maybe that's yours. I don't know where that came from.
What about the Dodo's face under the wing, or Paul McCartney's face under the wing of the Dodo?
Yeah, okay, that's your retarded thing. But everyone knows it's not Paul McCartney. It's not even a face.
IQ. What about so many other things? What about the hidden puzzle on the cover?
Where'd you get Mount Meru from, Pete? Where'd you get Mount Meru from?
Mount Meru?
Yeah.
Mount Meru is our historicus, but Mount Meru, of course, comes our way in terms of our flat earth journey. You can't help but know about Mount
Where did you hear about it?
Along the way, obviously.
Yeah, it's from Buddhism, Pete. It's if you did any research, you should know it's from Buddhism. But you know what? It's quite funny that half these flat earthers don't know this is a Buddhist. This comes from Buddhism.
Buddhists, though. I didn't hear about it from any.
No, I know, because you don't do research, Pete. You don't think, oh, this is something I'm going to put out to everyone, but I won't look at the roots. If you just Google search it, I'm pretty sure you'll find it's from Buddhism. I haven't done it, but I know it's.
You ask me, where did I come across this? Right? We all come across our ideas.
Just do some research. You think you all do research? You don't.
The pathway of flat Earth inquiry. So,
you just picked it up. You didn't look into it. You just believed it, is what you're saying, and then went with it.
I believe, man. Do you not believe in it? You believe?
Yeah, I believe in stuff that, and I'll actually look at it. So, like I believed in flat Earth, I actually challenged myself and looked at it, and then was like, actually, no, I've just had a big misunderstanding here. I don't know very much about this subject, and I got blagged by a bunch of con artists on the internet. Very, 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 very simple. Easy as that. I was in it for maybe a year.
Fair enough. But hang on. So you got conned, right? But you are of reasonable intelligence. So you were persuaded against your better judgment initially. What was the big persuader for you, Alan?
Look, I've said it a million times. If you can't understand the stars, the star trails, and the sunsets, and obstruction, there's no helping you. You can argue dirty air, blah, blah, blah. You're going to go back contoured mirrors in the sky. I've heard it a million times, Pete.
No, you're not answering my question.
Don't give a shite about your contoured mirrors in the sky.
Hang on, when you transition from the globe belief that we were all brought up with to the flat earth belief, you're an intelligent man. You must have had good cause to break away from such.
I did, yeah. I was completely mental and breaking away from society. I had no one to talk to. I had no friends, and yeah, I thought, hang on, flat Earth. That's a good way to think that. Oh, everything's a lie, so it's not okay that I'm feeling fucked up because the whole world's fucked up, and the whole world is fucked up. But the Earth is not flat. It's simple. It can't be flat. It's a geometric impossibility.
So once again, I asked you what was the evidence that persuaded you, because you are a reasonably intelligent.
I just told you. Did you not listen?
Yeah, but that you didn't give a specific best piece of evidence, right?
I did. I gave really good evidence.
You just said you were in you were vulnerable.
Oh, that's freaking you out. Sorry.
No,
Look,
no, that doesn't bother me. I know what 666.
Oh no, yeah, sorry, yeah, you're an idiot. Yeah. So like basically, it's very obvious. Star trails, star rotation, and fucking sunsets. The end.
So they made you think that the
Understand
Earth
it,
was
you
a
won't
flat.
think the Earth's
They
flat.
made you think that the Earth was a flat plane. Is your answer to my question? Because that's the question I asked you.
I don't know. I can't remember. Probably Eric Jabay and all these other fucking big morons. The bigger ones,
I
not the
didn't ask
small
you who,
idiots.
I asked you what.
Just the big one.
I asked you what.
I
right?
told you my mental illness, Pete. That's the reality of it.
I'm not. Okay, so in other words, there was no sound, logical, scientific, rational reason.
No,
it was all
no, because there is
mental
none for flat Earth.
So
Yeah.
if you admit to being mentally ill back then, how do I know that you're not mentally ill now? I've never.
No, I am still mentally ill.
I know I've never been mentally ill.
Yeah, I'm still mentally ill. That's why I'm here, even having this conversation.
So why? But you know, in one sense, we're having a much more calmer conversation on camera here than we were when you were off camera. When you attacked not only myself, my personality, my thoughts, but my family as well. So
I didn't attack your family. I want you to actually do something for your family, Pete. Actually, I don't want you to. I just think you should. This is my opinion. You do what you want.
Right, but see, again, you're changing your tune, and the whole reason for this hangout was because I wanted you. You know, it's more difficult now, Cat Earth, don't you? When you're looking face to face.
No, it's just the same, Pete. I've seen your face a million times.
I know that, man, but we've never spoken like this.
Yes, we have, Pete. But last time I was trying to be nice, and now I don't care.
This is a second degree of separation because both our connections are excellent here, and this is as real time as we're going to get, right?
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
And as I said to you, it would be more difficult because now you can see we're visual creatures. So now you can see that at the end of your attacks is a living man.
No, Pete, I've always seen you. You haven't seen me. So maybe at the end of your attacks, there's a living man. That's the point I'm making to you, that you're projecting everything you insult.
My attack on you, Alex, is what you pretended to be a friend, right? Like you said on Discord there, like I said as well, you pretended to be interested in the story of the dodo, and then you come along and you dismiss it and you ridicule me for holding to such a stupid idea. How am I supposed to feel? You know, I still take the dodo very seriously.
Look, I don't care. I don't care, Pete, how you feel at this point. I don't. I used to care, and I don't care anymore.
Well,
because you won't do anything. Why? You don't care about what I feel, do you, Pete? So why should I care what you feel? What makes you so special, Pete?
No, but hang on. Doesn't that make it worse then? Because you go out deliberately trying to hurt someone's feelings that you don't.
No, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, Pete. I'm just telling you the truth. And
well, you try to bring my son into this.
That is for your own good.
You know about
I'm doing you the best favor I can do you by being fucking honest with you. I might be being a bit brash, but I'm doing you the best favor. And I did this before when I talked about your son. I mean it, Pete. I mean it. This is ridiculous.
Should I tell him about cannabis oil curing cancer?
That's fine. Whatever, Pete. The Earth's not flat, and there's no dodos and all this stuff. And Paul McCartney is not in the dodo, and whatever. Maybe he died. I don't even know about that. Maybe you're right about that. But the dodo's bullshit. The flat Earth's bullshit. Most of what you say is bullshit. It is. It's bullshit. You're mental. This is why you get kicked out of all your pubs and all this stuff. This is why the problems in your life, Pete, is happening because of this right now. You need to think about this stuff.
It's not about the problems in my life. This is my life, right?
Well, there you go. That's the problem, isn't it? This is your life.
You have defined my pathway, my course.
No, I don't.
You're looking at the man who has revealed Aristarchus.
Oh my God!
But you don't understand this.
I've proved what I've said. I've told you. Here's my face. There you go. My face. I'm not scared to talk to you. I don't care. If we're in real life, I'd probably have just walked away by now.
I mean, this is my whole point. This is the whole reason for us going on camera, is for you to continue on the barrage of insults and anger that you threw at me on Discord. But you can't do it, can you?
I love to drink.
You can't do it. You know, so
this is. I can't do it. I'm still insulting you. When did you think I stopped insulting you in this conversation, Pete?
We're to rate the anger level. Here it's down at about 2, whereas over Discord you just came straight in and it was up at about 9.
Your mic, Pete, or your headphones. I don't know. I am exactly as angry as I was on Discord. There's really no difference.
No, you're not, and you can be sure there's some people over here from Discord.
Mental. Like, I don't know why I'm
listening. That's fine. That's fine. I can make shit of you.
I really drank a lot tonight.
I could make shit of you at any point in terms of flat Earth debate, and I know I could.
No, you can't, Pete.
Yes, I could.
No, you don't have a debate. Or you can just talk bullshit and not listen to what I'm saying.
No, but hang on. This is why
you're not winning a debate. And 35 out of 35 people would genuinely agree with me. I promise you. If you don't pick them off fucking mentalists on YouTube and just pick them on the street, they'll all agree with me. All of them.
But, I mean, what does that say about you? I mean...
It says that I'm right and you're wrong.
This is the dumb masses, right?
You're dumb, Pete. You're really no. Actually, I don't think you're dumb. You're just mental. You're actually quite clever, but you're just mental. That's
Right.
fine. That's fine. But
Because
someone needs to
that
tell you this. Sometimes
that
someone.
mentality is
You know what? A lot of
compared-
helped me, Pete, is going out in the real world and people telling me I'm mental for thinking this,
Yes,
and then I was like, oh,
right.
yeah. I think more people need to tell you this. You
But
just
hang on, you're just after
we
admitting
need to
that you have
argue with
mental
you. It's
issues
mental.
back then. I never maintain I have mental issues. I know I haven't got mental issues.
No, you do. If you don't realize that, then you don't realize yourself, do you? You've got a
I didn't-
massive problem, and this is why
I
you
didn't
project all over
listen.
the place.
I didn't create the story of the dodo. I just uncovered the true meaning.
No,
of
you
it.
just copied it off Clues Forum. Listen, oh no, hang on. I think that was even on the Flat Earth. The Flat Earth Society has something about dodo.
No,
Anyway,
never
that's not the
saw it.
point. No, it's
I
not the
never
point,
saw
Pete. You're just completely crazy. I'm sorry that you need to fucking think about that. If you can't even, okay, you think you're so freaking open-minded, right? Oh, I'm so open-minded, but you can't open the mind to the fact you might be crazy. Well, that's stupid, because when I was flat earther, I definitely was always open-minded to the fact that I could be completely crazy.
How do you know I haven't
That's the
opened my mind
difference
to that
between people who
possibility?
come back from this insanity and people who are full dodo.
But how do you know I haven't? How do you know what level of?
Because you just said I'm not crazy.
No, but hang on. I know that. I know I'm not mental.
Well, there you go. That's how I know it.
How do you know
Bam.
to what degree I have considered the possibility?
No, because you're saying I'm not crazy, so
If
you're
you
not
consider
considering it.
something and decide.
So you've considered it and gone, no, I'm definitely not, which is the whole point. If you can't keep in your mind, look, I'll even keep in my mind 0.5% that the earth could be flat and there's fucking mirrors and tricks and bull. It's just that I'm not going to spend my life on 0.5% of a chance. If you can't even give me 0.5% or 1% that you're mental, then you aren't as open-minded as you claim you are, Pete. And I know you aren't open-minded. I already know you're not open-minded because the way you treat people who disagree with you.
Define what you mean by mental, then.
That's actually a good point. But let's not get into semantics of what mental is. You know exactly what mental is. Mental is someone who isn't using their brain properly, and it's affecting their life in a big way. That's what being mental is. It's an inability to function in some way in your brain, which is what you've got. I don't know if that's the definition, but that's how I see it.
Listen to me. If you accept as your reality that you're living on a spinning, careering ball in the emptiness of the solar system, first of all, and then the local galaxy, and then the universe in general, if you don't feel mental when you consider all of this in terms of your relative positioning, well, I don't know what to say to that. It's all insane, right? So you have to define what you mean by mental. Is it deviates from the norm? Then you're going to have to define it.
What did I say my definition was, Pete, of being mental? What did I say it was? Were you listening?
Yeah.
What did I say? What did I say my definition was just now?
Oh, hang on. You'll have to remind me, man. Sorry. I said it depends. Well, look, just remind me, please. Yeah.
So you weren't listening then?
No, I was listening, but
okay. I just said it's when you've got a deficiency in your mind. Your mind is not functioning in some way correctly. It's making it hard for you to understand things, or it's making you hard to function. That's how I define being mental. If there's something in your mind it's inhibiting your life, it's affecting you. Actually, it could probably boost your life, but it's something that isn't quite right. And this is the point. You have a problem to understand why the earth isn't flat. You have a problem of actually being open-minded. You have a problem with, you weren't even listening to me just then. You're saying, I haven't shown my face, but I've been on stream before. You don't listen to anything anyone says.
I don't remember seeing your face, Alex. I have to be honest with you. I think I might have, did you not come on with the computer graphics a few times?
I've done that, but no, for your stream, Pete, I came on with my face because I know how paranoid you are. You don't even remember it. In fact, Pete, let's be honest. You liked me until you realized I wasn't a girl, because you thought I was a girl for some reason. And when you go, oh, I thought you were a girl, and then you just fucking ignored me. And then Paper Explorator came on, and you did your usual fucking stupid conversation between each other. Oh, there we go. She left. Oh, he's back. There we go. Oh, God.
Yeah. If you're not sure whether someone is a female as opposed to a male, you're going to act in a sort of a cagey manner until you find out, right? But when you say I liked you, how can you like a character? You're just, you just got to go on certain limited information. That's all it was. But as I said, I liked you at the start as well, Alex, because you showed a little bit of support for what I was venturing into in terms of Alice in Wonderland and the dodo. And then, as I said, you just
no, Pete, you turned on me when I disagreed with you on something, and that's what happens, Pete.
Man,
Someone disagrees with you, and you go mental, and you actually start bullying them. Quite
disagree
frankly,
with anything.
that's what you do, and then
I
you
never
just project
stopped
on everyone like, "Oh, you're bullies."
No,
That's
no,
what
I
you
never
do.
stopped
That's what
anything.
happened, Pete. I never have a problem with someone until they start it with me. It's as simple as that. I don't. And most people, you know, I know everyone's saying out there they're all fucking annoyed that I'm acting like this. I don't give a shit. Like, that is the truth. I don't fucking have a go at people, but if you keep having a go at me, I'm going to lose my temper at some point.
Right, but if you're wrong,
I've got a fairly long fucking fuse, to be fair.
If you're wrong about the globe Earth, right, will you be humble? Will you come around and apologize to me?
Actually, no. Do you know what? I wouldn't be humble. I'd say, well, that was a fucking small percent chance that God or whoever is fucking playing some mental trick on us to make us think that we're on a globe, but the reality is we're on a flat plane.
Well,
mate, that's something I won't be. No, I wouldn't be humble because I say, well, I considered it, but it didn't make any fucking sense. So, but there was some supernatural forces at play, apparently, to just trick me into thinking I'm living on a globe. So no, I won't be humble. I'll be like, that's weird.
Flat plane, man.
I won't be humble. No, why should I be humble? I
consider all your senses tell you that you live in a flat plane.
No, they don't. This is the problem. This is your mental deficiency.
You have to admit that.
This is what they love to tell you. Oh, your senses, because water doesn't bend in your bathtub. It's just pathetic if you do that. If you just think about it, right? But what do my senses say about the fucking sunset, Pete? What do my senses say about a sunset, Pete? Does that not tell me I'm on some sort of globe, or at least the sun is going under us and it's?
You can relate to certain speeds, right? Again, from slow to quick, and the quickest being an airplane, say, right? So when we talk about the Earth spinning beneath our feet at 1,000 miles an hour, we have some grasp on what that means. Now, to our senses, there's no movement whatsoever, and that's a gimme for all of us, right? Now, whether intellectually you've decided that that's ridiculous, sensibly you have to have decided that it is true. You understand?
Sorry, I wasn't listening. What are you saying?
I know, man. I know.
Nah, I was just doing something else. Thinking about something else.
You're
talking about my senses. Blah blah. I don't even know I'm here.
I just said we had time, man. But if you're not interested in us making sure that you're correct,
no, Pete. I'm sure it's you don't understand the argument.
Right, but if you're incorrect, right, then your behavior is abominable. Actually, isn't it?
No, it's not, Pete. No, because actually, I'm telling you.
You're so sure of the truth. And you're talking about my mentality.
Okay, I am really sure the Earth's not flat.
You're talking about my life.
I told you,
my way of thinking is affecting my life. And if it's affecting it adversely, therefore I have to be mental. But if you're mistaken, right, then you are totally incorrect. And everything you've said about me and you can be guarded.
And I'll turn that back on you, Pete. What if I'm right? What does that make you? If I'm right that the Earth's not flat, what does that make you?
Deceived, because I know that
everything you've acted and everything you've said to people, Pete, what does that make you?
I just said it, deceived, because
you've acted in a terrible way. I never talk to anyone like that who hasn't talked to me like that first.
On, excuse me now. Tell me what the terrible thing I've done to you. Go.
It's not that terrible. I mean, you just act like an arsehole to me.
But you just said terrible, so tell me the worst thing.
Earlier on, you said I'm bullying people and I'm a coward and I won't show my face. But all this stuff. So there you go.
Yeah, I said you were a coward for the things you were saying to me, and that you wouldn't do that if
I wouldn't show my face, Pete. Well, you're wrong about that. So what else could you be wrong about?
Well, I wasn't.
You said I'm an agent, Pete. I'm an agent.
The levels now at 2. Over in Discord, they were up at about 9. You were.
No, that's just the volume on your Hangouts, Pete. I'm exactly the same.
Everything you were saying and everything you were.
No. I'm still convinced you're a complete moron.
Well, that's fair enough. I mean, do you think I can't just brush people like you aside in an instant?
Well, just why are you talking to me then? I mean, do you know what I mean?
Well, as I said, I knew you wouldn't follow through. I knew you wouldn't.
Well, I wouldn't follow through. I'm here, Pete. So you're just talking shite once again.
I said you have to continue on the manner in which you.
I am fucking. Oh my god! Do you want me to scream? Even do you just want me to shout or something? You want my neighbours to get pissed off?
That's what you did in the other place, man.
Yeah. Okay. You're a fucking idiot, Pete. How's that for you, motherfucker?
No, that's fake. That's fake.
Well, no, it's because I can't actually shout. It is getting quite late. You know very well. Why the fuck?
I want to see the vitriol, though. So I won't.
There's still just the same vitriol. Believe me, Pete. The same vitriol is still rocking.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. As I
Bullshit.
say, you fall
Absolute
foul of
idiot.
any of the questioning, I could put you through, Alex. I
Well, go
can
on, put me through a question,
any
Pete.
bowler
Go
in
on, do a
50,
question.
anyone.
Dodo.
Anyone. I know,
Go
but
on.
I mean, it's as if this doesn't matter to you, Alex. It's as if, like,
It
you
doesn't.
accept that
It
you were
doesn't, Pete.
deceived
I've
when you did make
realised.
the
Yes,
transition.
I have accepted it. Yeah.
Yeah, you accepted you were deceived when you did make the transition from ball earther to flat earther,
Yes.
and now you're certain and you're back in the original camp again, and you're
Yeah.
defending it almost to the death, right?
Well, not to the death, but if you want to think that, but I'm willing to say my opinion. You all want to sit out here and say your opinion, but if I want to say my opinion, no, I'm not allowed to say my opinion.
That's all
It's
I
my
ever
fucking
do,
opinion.
express my
This is
opinion.
YouTube, mate. It's about opinions.
You
Here's
said I
mine.
was horrible to you, so I'm asking you for an
You've been horrible to
example.
people.
If I told
and
you to fuck
I don't
off
really
and go
care,
fuck
but yeah.
yourself, is that horrible? Is that what you mean by horrible?
Yeah, it's not very nice, Pete.
Is it not? You've never
No.
done that to anybody. You've never instigated anything like that. You've never planned and connived to try exasperate somebody or extract a reaction from them. You've never done that, Kader.
Well, no, I don't think so. I don't think I've tell anyone to fuck off on this thing unless I meant it. Do you know what I mean? Just to create a reaction. I'm gonna tell you to fuck off. Just to create a reaction. No.
I mean, if you want to take this as deadly serious, as you said, if these things, these thoughts are affecting your life, first of all, I would have to say to you, you have to define life, and you'd have to try and define my life for me, right? And that's an impossibility.
No, I don't have to do that. That's not what
No, but you would have to do that because your version of how my life would be peaceful and stable, and hence I'd have a peaceful and stable mentality and mental health.
Yes.
Might be completely different from my view on the same thing. That might be something that's absolutely insane to me, right?
Yeah, but the problem is, Pete, you are insane. So, like, you can't judge that correctly.
Am I insane based on my thoughts, expressing the thoughts that I do express?
Yes.
Okay. So when Einstein talked about riding on a light beam, for instance, that's not insane, is it?
Yeah, but can he, like, when he, I don't even know what that's about, but I'm sure if he expanded on it, it made sense and a lot of people follow it. When you expand on things, Pete, and we've listened to it, it's not like we don't listen, Pete. It's not like we haven't listened. It's just clear you're crazy and none of it makes sense. It's very tenuous. Everything you link things very
right. So if I was to go through some of Einstein's discovery and it didn't make sense to you, would you label him crazy?
No, if I wanted to look into it, then then I'd figure it out and see if he's talking craziness or not. I'd also, quite frankly, and this is not, I know you flat earthers hate this, but if there's a giant consensus among a lot of people who you know, seem, I know I'm saying that, but seem to know what they're doing and talk about, and there's not really any, and then obviously that's going to sway my opinion a bit, because we haven't got time to learn every little facet of everything in life. Just like you haven't got time to learn how your car works, but you get in your car and drive it. You know, or maybe some people do, or a lot of people do, but I don't know.
You're bunching a whole hell of a lot of people
in my car
together, Alex. You're making
I know where you're going, Pete. I've seen you do this question to people before.
I just expressed my own position on things.
You want to say that? Yeah.
As you know, in my own hangouts in general, I don't even sort of interact with the chat, and I'm sorry for that, right? Because I just sort of go on a roll. But in terms of other people's opinions, everyone is absolutely welcome, of course, to express their opinions. That's how we learn, and we incorporate new thoughts. You talked about Mount Meru earlier on. We can incorporate these things into our thinking then. And this is what we're ultimately all trying to do, is to paint a picture within our own brain of our reality. So I don't see what the harm is in that, because I have no right to step on someone else. I don't know them. I don't know their life history. I don't know their mentality. What I might think is mental for them, a state that they might think is absolutely the opposite. And I have not got that right to impinge or impose on that.
You're just so drifting far. Yes, okay, we're all trying to paint a picture of reality in our mind, blah, 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 blah. The Earth's not flat. If you want to paint a picture of reality in your mind, understand why the Earth isn't flat. And then at least you'll be grounded on some sort of solid fucking, you know, truth. But, you know, if you're going to go from this, well, you know, I know there's some mirrors and contours and make stuff up for the reasons why the Earth isn't flat, which is what you do, then no, you're not you're just painting a picture of whatever you feel like doing. That's all you're doing.
Okay, Alex, you told me the reasons why you transitioned from globe to flat, which was the sun, the stars, the planets, etc. Can you tell me the reason why you transitioned back?
Oh my God, you're just repeating yourself. I've told you twice on this stream, I'm pretty sure.
Why you transitioned
Give me
back?
the 3 reasons. The 3 reasons.
I'm
What?
not talking about the fact that you saw that there was deception within the flat Earth movement. I'm talking about the physical, scientific persuaders.
That is scientific. My reasons are scientific. I don't see why they're not scientific.
So can you tell me them, please?
Well, I gave you 3 earlier. Can you tell me them?
But they were the 3 that took you away from the globe Earth, you said.
Oh, sorry. I'm missing. You telling me you want reasons why I went to flat Earth?
No, you already told me those reasons, I thought. So now I want to know what
Really?
reasons were that overrode those reasons in terms of the...
I've made more points about the... Oh, my God. I've told you 3 reasons why I don't think the Earth's flat. What are they, Pete? What are the 3 reasons I don't think the Earth's flat?
You said, you see, that they were the reasons that you thought the Earth was
Pete,
flat.
what was the 3 reasons why the Earth isn't flat that I told you?
Stars, and the horizon.
There we go. So that's it. That's your answer.
You told me that they were the reasons why. I asked you the question, what was the reason that made you switch over to flat Earth in the first place? And that's the answer you gave.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, whatever, cool. Like, yeah, so, motherfucker, the reason I became flat Earth is because I'm mental. I told you that as well, I remember. I was just like...
a scientific reason, though.
Because there isn't I said there is no scientific reason. Oh, my God, what is the time I'm talking?
No, that's okay, man. That's okay. I mean, as you say, then you were easily swayed. You were just feeling a certain way.
I am easily swayed.
You changed your whole life paradigm on a whim.
Yeah. But do you know what easily swayed is? It's being open-minded. You're just absolutely solid in your belief. You're completely religiously fundamentalist. That's what you are.
After admitting that we can't feel the
open-minded, mate. You can prove to me the Earth's flat, I'll believe it again, but you can't. Because you've got no reason. Your just stuff is made up. Your contoured mirrored barrier thing for the stars has nothing to do with science. There's no science in that. It's made it up.
Well, I agree. I agree that a lot of the stuff I think about is
made up.
You might say it's made up, but I'm just talking. It's a sort of an ongoing report of my inverted commas progress or regress from your point of view. Right? So it's about building a picture. That's what I've tried to do. When I talk about these things, this is my best offering, I guess, at expressing the picture I see. You know, I could do it. I guess if I should do videos, right, and put it across in a nice, easy package and try to get the message across. And I get around to that. But yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is. It's an alternative sort of possible explanation for what's going on. It's not to the same detail. I'm not a full-time scientist. I haven't a bunch and a team of people behind me, and that's why you have to sort of, there's so much out there. You have to take a very shallow view of certain things, right, and forget about proofs in the traditional sense, in the scientific sense, to a big degree. I've often said, Cat Art, that this is about the individual painting our own picture. It's within us. The story is within us as it waits to unfold. And the journey we're on now is laid out for us, right? I think that much is clear. So much has changed since, let's say, 9/11, for instance. We have a completely different realm in existence. And I see all of this as being, well, I haven't talked about that. The future is more certain than the past. So when I talk about photo,
yeah, okay, whatever.
This is what Back to the Future is about.
Yeah, the future's more certain than the past makes a lot of sense.
This is about Back to the Future. Think about Back to the Future and think about the 9/11 connection as well. There is a 9/11 connection to Back to the Future in terms of the walk, right? But it's a different thing.
Shit, you're funny, Pete. I forgot.
Well, I'm just saying to you that, you know, this story is unfolding for us and the clues have been placed along the path. And in terms of the dodo or Aristarchus, these are the ultimate solutions in one sense, as far as I'm concerned. If more comes along, I will try relay it, but I can't see anything being bigger than Aristarchus because it's literally everything.
Yeah, it's mental, it's crazy.
It's literally everything.
Aristarchus picked up.
That's all. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So the story is there, waiting to be unfolded. And as I say, the future is more certain than the past from my position. And all I'm doing, Cat Art, is expressing that. I don't even visit the chat rooms I just shouldn't even do that. I should not do that.
Buzz is wearing off, man.
Visit the chat out. So I just ramble on, right? I just ramble on and I talk for hours on end. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not about me insulting anybody else's opinion because no one gets a chance to put an opinion in, right? But that's not the type of hangout I'm at. But I've had plenty of discussions, as you know, on other places where opinions have been put forward and rejected and thrown back and forth, etc. And one thing I do find is when you question anyone like you in the position that you hold, even such a basic level, you have to make all of these concessions and you have to jump into and you have to jump into sort of assumption upon assumption. and that's not satisfactory
Assumption, Pete.
for any
What's
scientific
your
method.
all you've got is assumptions for why the star trails and the stars move the way they do,
No,
why
no,
the sun sets. And that's all you've got is assumptions. Just projecting again,
we
man.
start off with a blank sheet.
Nonsense.
Right? We make observations. We're all fitted with the same sort of equipment, right? The five, or
Mate.
well, there's more than five senses.
It's like
Yeah.
year 2000 McDonald's Coca-Cola glass.
All right, man.
Classy.
This is I don't know what this is actually.
It's a mug. It's pretty
Oh,
badass.
so I can give no name or no date to
It's nice, it's nice. Look, Pete, you're just talking nonsense. Everything you just said is just crap. You basically just work on assumptions. Your whole bloody this mirrored contour stars thing, that's all complete assumptions. Massively flawed. You've got no real explanation for the sunsets. You've got dirty air and perspective, and it doesn't make sense to anyone who understands perspective.
I posted 2 videos before.
Just so happens that all the maths for the fucking globe works. It's just absolutely nonsense, man. I mean, and I'm not a mathematician, Pete, and I can understand that. I can use the Earth curve calculator and understand it, and I can understand how much bullshit they were telling me when they were like 8 inches per square mile, blah 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 blah. And then they don't tell you about observer heights. This was like 2 years ago or whatever. They're just bullshitting you. They're always never telling you the full story. And the fact, and you can never argue something unless you know both sides of an argument, Pete. You should know that. And you guys don't understand. Most flat earthers don't understand the globe argument. They think they can argue against it.
I understand the globe better than you do, Cat Earth, because I'm better at math.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I'm better at math than
I
you.
doubt it. Yeah, maybe. That might be true. That might be true. But you don't understand the globe better than me, because you would be a glober then.
Okay.
Oh no, but you're completely mental. Fair enough.
I can pose a problem for you. Will you answer it? Will you be willing to try and answer it?
I'll try, but I'm not saying I can, Pete. I'm not a genius. I'm just saying it doesn't take a genius to figure out the Earth's not flat.
Let's get back to basics and try work the thing out. Okay, so we're told
challenge time.
No, but look, I just want to see what your answer is. For me, there's no solution to it. But we're told about a spinning Earth, right? And we're told that as you approach the equator from the north and south poles, the rate of the spin of the Earth increases. So this is where the Coriolis effect comes into things now. So place yourself any distance, let's just say 1,000 miles south of the equator, right? And you're making a journey north of the equator 1,000 miles in a direct line, right? At, let's say, 1,000 miles an hour. So it should take you 2 hours as the crow flies. Now, do you agree that you have to take into account the Coriolis effect and aim ahead of your destination by a certain degree? And also, my other aspect of that question is, what would happen if you decreased your speed by half? Or increased your speed by half, I suppose is the better way of putting it. So you're down to 500 miles an hour. Would you have to aim at a different spot to account for this change in relative rotation of the Earth?
So I used to watch that Brian Mallon stuff as well. So basically, what do you think that has to do with the shape of the Earth? What you just described there.
Well, it's taken into account. It's a scenario given, assuming that the Earth is a sphere, and it's also assuming that the Earth experiences this. So the Earth as sphere is irrelevant. You're talking about the motion of the Earth, aren't you? So there's nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. So I don't care. No, I'm including that the Earth is given as a sphere and
it's rotating. Yeah, okay, I'll give you it's not rotating. So whatever, that's a relevant question. Next one.
You'll give me that the Earth is not. Cat Earth, you're representing.
Why not? We're talking about flat Earth. I'm telling you the Earth's not flat. I don't care if you can't sidetrack me, Pete. I don't care. Tell me why the Earth's flat. Give me a question why the Earth's flat. So your best question was to question the rotation, not the shape.
Okay, Kurt, Alex, sorry. So you're giving me that the Earth is not moving, right? So I'll make the statement that if it can be shown that the Earth is not moving, the ball doesn't even enter the equation based on the universal behavior of water at similar temperatures and pressures. How can you refute that?
Sorry, say that again. I was just suddenly thinking, the reason this happened was because no one came to fucking P Mars stream to talk to me. I'm just saying, I needed to vent, and now I'm venting on you. Tell that question again, because it sounded pretty interesting. So tell me the question again.
Are you under pressure, Alex? Because you know this.
No. Sorry, I really wasn't listening. I was thinking something.
It's over. I looked. I don't pay attention to these things, but
I'm not piping. I'm not talking to anyone. Just tell me the question again.
I saw 41 people. So if you granting me that the Earth is stationary, I make the claim that if the Earth can be shown to be stationary, then the ball as a shape for the Earth doesn't enter the equation based on our known universal behavior of water at similar conditions of temperature and pressure, i.e., that flatness associated with it. You'll never
Yeah,
get
well,
bored.
the thing is, it is rotating in reality, Pete. So now can you prove that the Earth's flat?
But you just said you accept that it mightn't be rotating, or it
No,
isn't.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But you don't believe in any physics or science, apparently. So why are you trying to throw that back
Well,
in my
just ask
face?
you,
It doesn't make any sense.
if you give me that the Earth is not rotating, I made a statement then, and I want you to
Yeah,
come.
and I made my statement that you don't believe in physics, science. I think the Earth actually is rotating. Now prove the shape of the Earth. Because saying that, well, because you're saying it's not rotating, then the rest of physics will say that it can't be round, is like completely nonsense. Because you're going against physics with your whole idea of flat Earth. So to try
Is
and
it?
throw physics back in my
Hang
face,
on, I'm going
I'm just
against
giving you a
it when-
concession
what I'm
about that
doing
it might
is
not be
voting-
rotating. So don't throw physics, because if it's not rotating, then obviously all physics is out the window.
What
So
I'm
now
doing-
tell me why the Earth's flat.
What I'm doing is invoking physics by telling you that for all our experiential data, water behaves the exact same at similar temperatures and pressures, right? So therefore the ball, if you grant that the Earth is stationary, the ball doesn't enter the equation based on this known.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I know,
I've
man.
given
We
up.
let
I've
that
given
go.
up. No, say you could say it again, but it's just bullshit.
No, I
It's
know.
absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm here.
Well, listen. The truth is bullshit
Mate, I've
sometimes,
just
isn't
got
it?
too mashed up
I mean,
tonight,
the path to the truth is
Crazy.
easy, right? The path to the truth is easy, but a few 2,000 McDonald's Coca-Cola cans will get you there a little bit quicker. They'll put that little bit of.
I've got like
spirit
7 of
inside.
them, man. Do you want to see the whole collection? It's probably
What's
more
special
interesting
about
than
them,
Dodo.
actually?
That's just
What's
not.
special about the
Dodo's
2,000
pretty funny.
Coca-Cola? Or is it just a glass, a collector's
Oh
item?
my god. No, it's just the only glass I had left because I have need to do the washing up.
Okay. I don't think I have it. Well, could you not throw out a 2,000 glass and buy new glass? That's 20
I've
years
got
old.
other glasses, but Pete, like I said, I've need to do the washing up. Like
The glass is a glass, right?
I've got a glass is a
that leads
glass.
me to
You're
think
right
that you
about
might
that,
be-
man. You're right
But
about
that leads me to think you might be in the family home, Cat Earth. Are you in the family home?
that. No, it's my flat.
All right, man. So you have. Why did you buy that glass particularly? That's what I asked you. Is it a collector's item or was it?
No, I've actually had this. Yeah, when I did live in my family home when I had this. I just brought it with me. I was just like, well, there's some glasses I own. I might need them. You know, I'm moving out of home. I kind of need shit. You know, it's kind of what you do when you move home, Pete. You try and like fucking get shit for your house.
Well,
Shit ain't cheap, man. You got to fucking work.
well,
Well, yeah. Well, you wouldn't know about that, would you? So,
you do what you do.
well, you do what you do, which is not work.
Well, what do you work at, Cat Earth?
I run a business.
Vaping fluids.
You already knew that, so why did you ask?
So you're supplying a drug. You're satisfying a drug need to people.
Actually, I'm helping people quit a deadly addiction.
Have all of the fluids that you used been
Supported by the NHS, bro. Just saying.
Yeah, but hang
And
on,
my
hang
shop
on.
is hopefully is going to be the
NHS doesn't
NHS.
care for
The shop
people.
for the borough, for the NHS, where they're going to give us a carbon reader, which will read your lung print. They're going to they have to train us. We have to do a few courses, but we'll actually be able to give you a readout of how much better your lungs are getting as you quit smoking.
So you're
much
working
healthier.
for the NHS. Did you say that?
No, I said we're going to hopefully be the sponsored. What's the sponsored? Not sponsored because they're not giving us any money, but they are giving us that free equipment. But they're basically going to recommend people come to us because we have great customer service, Pete. We're good people.
Have the NHS introduced cannabis oil in terms of
mate, I'm all over that if that comes in.
For hang on, have they done this in terms of list of treatments for cancer, especially for younger children, right, who are quite helpless? Have they done that?
Yeah. I don't know what the NHS do, mate. I'm fucking with that. Don't worry about that.
So how come I heard?
I'm on that shit, Pete. Let's do this.
How come I heard an advertisement recently talking about how by 2020, 1 in 2 of you will have cancer? That doesn't seem to be a sort of an optimistic long-term view here, right?
What are you talking about? This has nothing to do with me. I'm not giving
But
people
you're going to be working for such an organization.
I will say this,
Alex, because you are a humanitarian and altruist, right? You're doing all this for the benefit of your fellow man.
Well, I kind of am, Pete, because I'm not actually making very much money. It's kind of why I'm a bit stressed right now. But I am literally trying to fucking keep my prices down, Pete. I pay my workers above minimum wage. I pay them a good wage, and it is an easy job. They give me a lot of shit, which is actually kind of why I'm stressed right now. Mate, you wouldn't even believe if I fucking told you my weekend, right? Anyway, that's for Discord, and that's not for public. But seriously, yeah, fuck. Like I fucking try my hardest for people, but I fucking had enough of people. People are tossers. You try and help them, and they just take the piss. Like flat earthers, Like you just sitting around doing nothing.
Now,
I'm
you're
probably
talking about
paying
work
for you to
now.
do this, Pete, quite
I know you're
frankly.
talking about
Probably
work. You
paying
don't-
for you to
I
sit
mean,
around fucking talking about
Yeah,
flat
but
Earth all day. And it does vex me a little bit.
You're talking about work here, right? This is what I'm setting you. Why are you thinking flat
In
earthers?
Northern Ireland or Southern Ireland?
Are you saying flat
Because
earthers?
if you're in Southern Ireland, then I'm not paying.
Yeah,
So
can you not interrupt, Alex? Are you saying that flat earthers are leaking into your work and
it's
they're
kind of important, Pete, who I'm paying for to sit around talking about flat Earth. Honestly, it
You're free
is.
to go when you want, man. I'm not stopping
No,
you.
I'm
I'm
just
not holding
saying,
you.
man. Like, oh man. Like,
I asked you a simple question. Are you saying flat earth is impinging on your work and it's sort of bringing down your mood?
Nothing's impinging on my work, other than me being too fucking kind to people,
But
quite
if I knew
frankly.
the week you
Giving
had,
motherfuckers refunds when they don't deserve it.
right?
Do you know how much I lost on one product line? £180 in 1 month I lost on selling a product. I lost that. I must be out of my mind, man.
I wouldn't buy shit from you, Alex.
But I want people to quit smoking, and I know, like in the long term, they'll buy the liquids, we'll get them down. I want to get people to get 0 milligram, no nicotine.
Thoroughly tested, or every one of those liquids thoroughly tested in the most
Yes.
fundamental manner.
Oh yes,
And
this is
they're
the
being,
new laws that came in. It makes it more expensive, but I
there
have
has
to
been
still keep the prices down,
trials.
so I make less money.
But hang on, there's long-term trials done on the
That's fair
efficacy and the healthiness of these liquids. Is that you?
Yeah.
Have
Look, Pete.
Have you read all of
I think 8 years now of testing by 3 universities, top universities in our country, who have said 95, 98, and 99, I think, % safer than smoking. That's a huge harm reduction. That's not to say it's not harmful. The best thing to do is not smoke or vape or anything. And I tell people that it's not a healthy thing to do. But if you're a smoker, this is an extreme. And anyone who's quit smoking and gone to vaping will tell you the health benefits. And the only people giving you negative information, I can't believe I'm talking about fucking vaping. Oh, it's fucking screwed. The only people giving you negative stuff is the tobacco companies, who are known for lying for fucking, the last 50 years. So it's not a surprise they still and now they're fucking putting all their money behind vaping. So if it was so bad and they were against it, now they're putting all their money behind it. So, they're full of shit.
It's a very shady environment you're in there, Alex.
No, it's not, Pete. It's a homegrown industry, and we fucking hate the tobacco companies, and they're fucking idiots. Do you want to know something, Pete? Right, here you go. Right, fucking Philip Morris, will offer me £2,000 a month to put a fucking TV screen in my window advertising their IQOS product, and to fucking sell their IQOS product. Whether I sell any or not, they give me £2,000 a month to put that. That's £2,000 profit, Pete. That's not £2,000 fucking revenue, and I take like 30%, 40% margin. That's £2,000 fucking profit to my business, and I didn't take it because fuck the fucking Philip Morris and fuck tobacco companies. And mate, I'll get respect for that in the long run. I will. And if I don't, fuck them, because fuck tobacco companies. So don't tell me I'm fucking shady. You don't know fucking shit. This is what I mean about you being rude. You don't know nothing.
You're never, Alex. You're shady. Never.
Nah, fuck that. That's a true story. What I just told you. I turn that £2,000 a month, Pete. 2,000 fucking. I could just pocket that.
I don't give
my
a
business.
Fuck, man. You're shady.
Yeah, I could fucking pocket that, Pete. And I've thought about it, and I didn't fucking take it.
You want to big yourself up that you're doing all this.
No, you fucking ask for it, mate. I don't fucking go around telling people that. You're saying I'm shady.
You're hanging on for a better
fucking shit, bro. You don't know what I go through on a daily basis to actually. I'm not trying to fucking virtue signal, Pete. You don't know what I do every day to help people. But I know that you sit here doing fuck all.
I mean, I know you as these things. So I don't give a fuck. What do you want?
You don't know what I do every day, mate. You don't know my life. You don't know nothing, Pete.
Violin. What do you want?
Yeah, if you want, mate. I prefer the violin to you being a tosser. At least that would be some fucking.
The whole reason we're here tonight, Alex, is you were a tosser to me, right?
Yeah, that's true, actually. No, well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'm a tosser now because I don't like
you deserve it, Pete. You deserve. I'm telling you the real advice here, Pete. I'm giving you straight. Yeah, I'm pissed, whatever, but I'm giving you it. This is what you need to hear. You are talking utter shite, and you're broadcasting it to the world, and it is affecting your life because you're obsessed with it. And I don't care who hates me for saying that. I don't. It's true. It's been annoying for a while. I'm still saying it, and here I am saying it.
This is my first hangout in a few months now, and I just posted 2 videos in the chat. Main chat. One is proof that the rocket hits some sort of a firmament, and you see this ripply. I'm going to play a few seconds of it, actually, Alex. You see a ripply collision, right? So for all the world, if you just came in at this point and you didn't know what was happening, you would, again, we're going back to our original senses, what's it telling you? You would say that this is something that's colliding with a body of water, and we see a rippling effect. So you asked me about why why I don't think fundamentally that flat Earth is stupid. Well, these are some of the reasons, right? So let me just play the last few seconds of this to avoid copyright.
Yeah.
No, but here we go. There you go. So it's a rocket. Let's just, there's the approach. The rocket is.
Mate, it's just fucking boring, mate. I'm not joking, but it's just fucking
Come on,
boring.
Alex, this might change your life, right?
Oh, rocket
You're
hits the
asking
fucking
why I believe
dome.
in the
It's
dome.
that's Pete. That could be fucking to do with lens effect. That could be anything. Yeah,
Hang
you don't
on,
know
it might be.
that's fucking
I
dome.
grant
You
you
got
that it might be, but it might not be, Alex. So what does it
you.
look like to you?
Just looks like a fucking ripple in the camera. I don't know. It just looks
Well,
weird.
does
It
it?
looks like flat
So the
cherry
rocket is
picky
above the
shit.
atmosphere. So what is the rocket rippling through?
Oh no, it must be going through the dome, Pete. Yeah, obviously. Because
So
I'm
I'll
a flat
pause it here a
earther.
second. Did you see that light appearing here?
Man, like, honestly, I'm bored. I'm actually bored.
See this light appearing here?
You better start being more entertaining, Pete. You're killing my buzz.
I don't give a shit. Piss off if you want, man. I don't care. It's nothing to do with me. If you're bored by evidence that's fascinating and supports the idea that we're dealing with a watery, invisible barrier, well, that's fine, right? More fool me for doing this. But as I said, that wasn't the purpose of me talking with you in the first place.
Oh yeah, I'm inviting Sean G because it's boring, man. You're boring me. Let's get Sean G.
I don't want to talk to Sean G. So that's against my wishes.
Epic, bro. He's way better than you.
Don't give out the link to anybody.
Please.
If you do,
I won't do it if you don't want me to, but I was just about
no,
to.
I don't want you to, man. So I don't want
I'd
to.
rather speak to Sean G. Just kill him.
I don't want Sean G here. Here's the second video I posted in the chat. Undeniable proof of a dome firmament. You have to look at it a few times. When you do, you'll understand that we are dealing with a reflective material, a reflective surface. And I do agree, it's the most mind-blowing and beautiful clip of 2016. Again, you have to wrap your mind around it. I played this before many times. These are my starting.
Yeah, Pete. Just so you know, whatever. It's just bullshit.
So you're going to play this.
So boring.
Alex, as you said, you're
I don't even have to talk to. I would right now. But this is killing my buzz. I'll probably go to bed in a minute.
Is because you have just diminished and dismissed my reasons or my potential reasons for living on a flat Earth or within a barrier, for that matter.
Yeah.
This shows us.
You know, I have listened to your show for fucking hours and hours. So it's not like I didn't
why are you
listen.
saying that none of it matters then, man?
Because it's bullshit. I listened to it for hours and hours and hours. It's just bullshit.
This is crucial.
All of it, you just made it up. It's just assertions. You just make
when you understand,
excuse
me, when you understand that this is the only event here, and then at the background here, we're seeing a reflection of this event, then you can start to understand how the sun and the moon might be intimately connected, and one is
they're not. It doesn't make sense, Pete. If you can make that work on a fucking weird fucking dome shaped in some weird way, then all I'm going to say is that someone was playing a very, very odd trick on everyone, just so that a few people on YouTube can have a flat debate. So just fucking leave it, mate. What a load of nonsense.
The purpose of it.
God's played a giant trick on us, so we can have a flat Earth debate on fucking YouTube.
Whatever day is, Cat Earth. I'm asking you to examine some of the evidence that are just a few pieces in my arsenal in terms of why
it's rubbish. It's rubbish. It's assertions, isn't it? It's not even.
Anyone who hasn't seen it.
My reasons are really good, and yours are rubbish. Let's be honest.
Lovely.
They are. They are. You just make stuff up, and you're like, it could be like this and that, and then my reasons just make a lot of sense.
This leaves us along the pathway towards understanding that we live in a hall underneath a hall of mirrors, and it becomes easier then for us to understand that we're dealing with one source of everything, and it's light reflected, fractal defects. This source is Aristarchus.
No, Pete. You see what you're seeing there is most likely a fucking lens flare of some kind.
No,
I wasn't really looking.
No, I know you. That's what you think, but you haven't considered.
No, it is. You can reproduce it. It's just you.
You haven't considered it enough, right?
It's probably a lens flare. I wasn't really looking, but it's probably definitely a lens flare. You're just like, I fucking hate it when people bring lens flares up as evidence for anything, man. It's just retarded.
Evidence, right?
You just like actually spend a few seconds looking at it and just think, could this be a lens flare? Yeah, it definitely could be a lens flare. It's probably a lens flare.
Well, at least spend a few seconds looking at it and then spend a little bit more and try and code exactly what's going on. There's one reality here, and and this is what we're trying to figure out, right? But you seem to have it all figured out this time around. The last time around, you didn't. You had it completely wrong. But this time around, you have excellent reasons, as you have so eloquently expressed here tonight, Cat Earth. So
I just see my legs. They look so fucking pale on your stream.
I don't see your legs, man. Why are you showing your legs on camera?
It's you showing them. Well, I suppose I'm showing them. But you're showing them. I was just walking around, man. Like sometimes I need a walk. I don't want to sit down for too long. Do you know what I mean? Just walk about a bit.
Okay, well, no problem, man. Are you high? Are you wired?
I'm really drunk. Yeah. I'm really drunk.
So obviously you don't put a great deal of thought into flat Earth or anything beyond.
Yeah, I did. I put loads of thought. Yeah.
Yeah, so you just get hepped up about selling people oil and how you lost money here or you lost money there in potential. You're still keeping your head above water.
It's actually quite good, but no. I'm just saying that, like, yeah, I put a lot of thought
above water, right?
Sorry, what are you talking about?
I said you're still keeping your head above water, right? So in spite of difficulties,
it's not about, okay, right. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's not like I've lost loads of money and I'm going to survive. It's not that. That's fine. It's just that, like, it's a stressful night and I drank a lot, and then I thought, I said, do you know, this is the real thing. I was like, I'm going to PMARS. Let's chat some shit or whatever. But then no one's in PMARS because it's a bit late. So I was like, okay, right. I'll just go and flat have to pay and tell them they're all wankers.
I was talking quite a lot tonight.
Why not, man? You just got to do something. Sometimes you just got to do things, you know, like I just feel like doing that. So I did it.
Tell me what that is, Alex.
It doesn't matter. It's all the internet. It's
probably I'll give you great palm if you can tell me what this is.
It's cool, man. Like, even if I knew, I don't know what it is. It's really weird. Oh, okay. Turn it around. Keep turning it. Actually, I haven't got a clue what it is. Like, what the fuck is it?
I know somebody who has a clue what this is.
Okay.
You see him?
You're scaring me now, Pete. What is it?
Come on. Say hello. Okay.
Oh, little doggo.
He knows that this is a pig's ear.
Oh,
he knows it's a pig's ear, and you don't even know it's a pig's ear. You have less intelligence than a dog.
No, I thought it was a pig's ear, but like that dog is beautiful.
Away from that. He thinks he doesn't do anything for this. Like he's just going to come by without any work.
Oh, little doggo. What's his name?
Brandy. This is Brandy, by the way.
Brandy. Is it a girl? Is she a girl?
Oh, no, it's a
boy.
Yeah.
Boy, the little handsome boy.
He likes his pig's ears. This is my brother's dog.
Oh, he's cute.
Oh, he's gorgeous. Let me show you.
Oh,
nice.
Oh man, I love dogs, man.
Drop the pig's ear.
Oh,
the pig's ear.
I think he wants to go down though, like. Yeah. Anyway, whatever, like.
All right. I'll let him enjoy that. I think dogs have it right. It's no coincidence that dog backwards, of course, is God. They live in the moment. This is all about time. This is all about time.
Yeah, that's all weird, Pete. Like, dog, God, whatever. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Pass our time, right?
So it only works in English, doesn't it? Really, it's a bit weird.
No, it doesn't. It works in all languages. You have the idea first, Alex. If the secret is encoded, it can be encoded in any language, right? What's so hard to understand about that? That's where pictorially and numerically, this is where the truth lies, because they're sort of universal, right? A child in China can understand a picture of rising sun, for instance, or something like that. So, yeah.
Oh, I think my buzz is over, Pete. I think this is all over. It's kind of mental. It's kind of crazy. The pig's ear thing freaked me out a little bit, but no.
It's not for you, Alex. You make it right pig's ear of any game.
Well, that's a good one. Yeah,
so that's a good sort of
that's a good one. Yeah,
for the job you did tonight.
I mean, if you weren't crazy flat earth mentalist,
I'm going to stay up a while anyway. So I might even play a song, right? So.
Oh, I do like your songs, Pete. You should just do the fucking songs, mate, and leave the fucking dodo out of it. Like,
we can do both, Alex.
Play the. What is it? You do good Bob Dylan covers. They're always good, man. You're Bob Dylan. I think, is it Bob Dylan you do? I swear it's Bob Dylan. Yeah, you do good Bob Dylan covers, I gotta say.
I mean, back busking these days. Well, I hope you go back again soon. But great feeling busking. You can sing out loud and proud. You're getting some contributions from people who appreciate what you're doing, because, and when I think about it, not many people can play musical instruments in public. You know what I mean? And sort of and they think that anyone who can then must be possessed with some sort of great talent, whereas in fact it's not very difficult. It's just that initial block that people have to get over. So
it's easy. I used to be in a band, Pete. Played, I've been in 2 bands. Played all around the country. This is in Europe. So, yeah. I can,
Well, as I said,
respect, man. That's why I like your songs, man. That's why I like them, because I respect the talent. But no, I'm not ending the stream being nice. Pete, you're a mentalist. Like great Bob Dylan covers, but for the rest, it's fucking crazy. So just
Don't worry
Bob
about
Dylan
that,
up,
man.
mate. I swear, just Bob Dylan.
It all
like
adds together to make me what and who I am, right?
No, I think your Bob Dylan's good, bro. I think your voice is nice. It's like it's got a nice. It's like Bob Dylan because it's not like you got a great voice. It's like you have like a passion when you do it. So I'm definitely up for that. That's all sick. But like Whack, Sean G couldn't come on, but I would have owned him too. So unlucky Sean G.
No, I don't like
wrecked by Cat Earth. I could have wrecked Pete and Sean G at the same time. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to do that because you're too scared.
I don't like Sean G. He's one of those
like anyone who disagrees with me,
because he pretends to be your friend as well, Alex.
No, maybe Sean G's cool. Actually, like, no, I'm not. Sorry, I wasn't hating on Sean G. Whatever. Like, I'm just hating on
either. I just don't like
Pete. Hating on Pete Shea.
Let me sing this, so Alex, and this is
all right. Can I jam with it?
Whenever you want. This is a Bob Dylan song, and I like it, so I'll try to keep it down a small bit, but I have a little more freedom here, so there we go. They say to eat, drink, and be merry, take the bull by the horns. I keep seeing visions of you and Lillian. Everything looks a little far away to me. It's getting harder and harder to recognize the tracks. Too much information about nothing, too much educated rap. It's just like you told me, well, it's just like you said it would be. Well, the more
Alright, Pete, anyway, check it. Take care, man. Tune. Big up.
something I've got to do tonight, you go inside, stay warm. Cause someone's gotten hold of my heart. Someone's gotten hold of my heart. Someone's gotten hold of my heart. You have gotten hold of my heart. I just got back from the city of red skies. Everybody thinks with their stomachs and there's plenty of spies. Every street is crooked, it just winds around until it disappears. Man and butterfly, she loved me to stay like an ancient river, so wide and so deep. She said, easy baby, there ain't nothing worth stealing here. You're the one I've been waiting for, you're the one that I desire. But first you must realize that another man you can hire. Cause someone's gotten hold of my heart. Someone's gotten hold of my heart. Someone's gotten hold of my heart. I've gotten hold of my heart. Oh yeah, my heart. Yeah. I can see that hot-blooded singer on the bandstand. Poison love, red roses for a blue lady in Memphis in June. While feeding the devil, the guy who's wearing the powder blue. I've been to Babylon and I got to confess, I can still hear that voice crying in the wilderness. One looks large from a distance, close up is never that big. I never learned to print out blood and all the time. I never learned to look on your face and call it mine. Someone's got a hold of my heart. Someone's gotten hold of my heart. Someone's gotten hold of my heart. Oh, gotten hold of my heart. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. hole in my heart. Someone's got a hole in my heart. I've got a hole in my heart. Lovely. I hope I didn't make a pig's ear of that, right? Bob Dylan, Someone's Got a Hole in My Heart, excellent song, and some very poignant lyrics as well. Bob Dylan has been two or three, well, at least three, possibly more, switcheroos of Bob Dylan. So he's a big clue giver in this greater puzzle. That's where I'm at. So Cat Earth is left. I guess I can say thanks for at least having the courage to put your face to your vitriol, which was quite diluted compared to where it was, what it was over, the levels it was over at Discord. And indeed, that was the reason why I asked you to come on camera in the first place, to look at a man in the eye and say all of these, I guess, passionate things in terms of judgment, passionate judgments. That's what it is, right? But as again, we all know the story at this stage, there's no substance to it. And when questioned on the very foundations of their belief, they're found lacking. I just posted a few videos, asked a few simple enough questions. Every one of them sort of reflected, deflected, and just not answered. It's not really, I don't benefit anything from having these conversations. I didn't learn one thing, right? Not one thing. And yeah, that's the whole reason I did this hangout. I didn't intend to do it, but just to facilitate Cat Earth and his sort of exertion of passion, you know, and especially again against flat earthers. All flat earthers are retarded and stupid. Science is established, and it's the most insane idea ever. So it's by this overacting, you know what I mean, and this sort of unreasonableness in otherwise barely cogent and intelligent people that we can tell that these people are playing their part. It's probably pushing us on a bit more, but I've just moved on a whole hell of a lot from where Cat Earth is at. You know, the old sort of it's just rinse and repeat. It's play the tape over with all of them. You never budge an inch, and I suppose you have to go through this sort of step and make your way beyond it. So yeah, I don't take what Cat Earth has to say personally, or anyone that says about anything about me, my thinking, my personal life, anything like that. No one can say anything that can hurt me, because I do encourage people to say things if they want to try and hurt me, because that means that if I do get hurt, then I haven't dealt sufficiently with the issues myself, right? So I want to know about something that I'm not applying enough attention to. And this is where Cat Earth came in, talking about my relationship with my beautiful Stephen, which he knows nothing about, right? And yeah, what are you doing? What? He's perked up now since he ate the pig's ear, and he's gone to chasing his tail. He fancies a bit of dog tail for dessert, so that keeps him occupied for a while. He never quite catches up with his tail, and I guess in one sense, isn't that another good metaphor? Another good metaphor for the ball earth, right? And I guess even the ball earth, flat earth debate, we're just constantly chasing our tail, constantly moving back to square one. If we're looking for sort of approval, if we're looking for some sort of validation from the ball earth side, yeah. So that's a good analogy there, and yeah. So yeah, at least thanks to Cat Earth, you tuned and toned it right down. But at least we had a face-to-face, and well, I wish you well, Alex. You know, I know you're acting a part, so I can't be too sort of sincere in terms of my wishes that you'll come to question things at a core and basic level, and you know, come towards your truth, no matter how unpalatable, unbelievable, implying it is. This is the thing about the truth. You see, we will deny our eyes because of certain implications. These are the scary thoughts that we have. I'm not talking about Alex. He knows Alex was probably born into a rich family. I think he said he was born in Dubai, and he probably led into the truth from an early age, and has agreed and consented to play his part in all of this, to come back again and again and just insult people who've started thinking a different way, in a coherent way, a logical way, in a rational way. Yeah, he's contented to do this, and come hell or high water, he's going to achieve his goal, or his mission statement, I guess. and they're all playing the same game. You'll find that at this stage, it's the same as it was 3 years ago, right? Nothing has moved on. How far you as an individual moved on in terms of your understanding, your ability, or your actual building of a greater picture for yourself to try and put your truth together? That's the biggest question. If you haven't moved very much, well, then you've just stuck with the crowd and become sort of stagnated. I can say for myself, even if I'm absolutely wrong, which I know I'm not, I know that the one beauty about Ars Historicus is this can all be shown now and proved. It can be proved in the clouds, it can be proved in the earth, it can be proved in the sun, the moon, the planets, the stars, etc. So that's where I've moved on to, and until a greater solution presents itself, I can't see any greater in my thinking, and everything I do continue to learn just lends support to the idea that this is what we've been pointed to all the time. Just because the solution is revealed, that doesn't mean understanding comes, because now come the questions, right? So we're all still on the pathway asking our questions. So I was talking a bit today, and I didn't expect to do any of it. I was just in chat of Team Skeptic, right? So I heard of a few names. Sean Hufford was there, but there was a few. Well, I don't know if I heard about a few. Halsoy was there, so I did have encounters with some of them before. But I had a good chat there in terms of trying to get a point across the point. I mean, when you're talking to individuals and you want to find out some individual's view of the overall picture associated with some construct or some problem, but then you have to hear them out, right? And depending on where you're coming from, you will either support the endeavor, provide constructive criticism, if you will, after you try to understand, first of all, the story that the individual is telling, or else you won't, right? And of course, generally, the whole attitude of the antagonist is to shut down any future thinking, to get you hung up on one particular point without being able to tell the whole story. So if the point was let ride, a greater picture would be able to be presented, and it would come across in a much more coherent sense. So yeah, as I say, we have to ask ourselves as individuals, who am I trying to convince here? And I say, well, it's always been about you yourself. That's all there is. It's all about us. It's a search for truth. And all the tools have been given us. All the clues have been laid. And well, as I say, once you get so far, the truth lets itself shine. Yeah, so I just went to chat just in case anyone was yearning for the shade to come in and have a chat, right? So yeah, I just say hello to a few people, and thanks for tuning in. As I said, it's completely impromptu. I was due a hangout soon anyway, but completely impromptu because I was getting insulted from the other end of a microphone for no good reason. So riddle me this, how you doing, man? Thanks for tuning in. Debbie Duran. How you doing, Debbie? We spoke on Discord, so now you see my face. So how are you doing, Debbie? It was a pleasure to talk to you, and I'd like to see you have an open mind about these things. We still have to open our mind further and understand that within each narrative, they have paved the way for the explorer, if you will. So they've layered many different, potentially, and you have to bear this in mind, potentially many different layers. So when you get beyond the first layer of conspiracy, for instance, 9/11, Dylan Avery, loose change, right? That's waiting for you. You're shocked by that. And then you move on beyond that to maybe Dmitry Kalazov or Judy Wood. But lots of people get stuck there. But then you have to realize there's more to it again. And these buckets of evidence telling you that there's more to it. One of Judy Wood's stumbling blocks is she denies that there were any plane crashes. She doesn't get too deeply into it. If she denies there's any plane crashes, then she denies all the video showing plane crashes are genuine. So once you do that, you have it, of course, in mind to be suspicious about any further videography or video investigations that you do. But no, she doesn't learn from that. She looks at the collapse footage, collapse sequences, as if they're absolutely genuine, and sort of applies the physics to the cartoons. So this is the point. She hasn't budged from her position either. There are clue layers, and yeah, as I say, you like an layer of an onion. You have to keep making your way into a central point until eventually you do land at the truth. This is the nature of this game that we're playing. And well, from my point of view, Aristarchus is the truth, and it's the truth in all its glory. It's all there is, and now it's coming to sort of appreciate that and understand. For me, just to understand the full implications of it, because it literally is everywhere, you know. But for each and every individual, they're on their own pathway. And if you pay attention, I think no matter where you get your information, if you sort of learn discernment, if you wise up to fakery, remember we've been told everywhere pretty much from the clearly staged terror events to Donald Trump coming out, for instance, talking about fake news. So we've been told to look at everything with that sort of stern eye, you know, and look for not the literal, but for maybe the symbolic and the allegorical within the story. Because remember, the story and the narratives have to be written, right? This is why names and anagrams of names, and especially numerological values of the letters chosen in names, are big clues as well. I mean, I've often talked about this. Eratosthenes been said to be the first to actually have seen the truth about the Earth in terms of its sphericity. But when you look at it, you see that Eratosthenes is an anagram of sees not Earth. Now, once you get to flat Earth, of course, we realize that the sphere Earth is nonsense. So therefore, Eratosthenes and sees not Earth is a good anagram. There's a solid connection there. Me, where I'm at, none of these characters existed. Plato didn't exist. Eratosthenes didn't exist, etc. Aristarchus of Samos didn't exist, and no one ever hears of Aristarchus of Samos. That name should be on the tip of every flat earther's tongue, because when you look at Aristarchus of Samos, you find that let me bring it up actually in Wikipedia. You find that he was actually credited as being the first to propose that the sun is the center of the universe. You're going, hang on. Copernicus is always put front and center when it comes to that realization or revelation. Well, this is purposefully done then as well, right? They're not going to tell you the truth, but they are going to plant little seeds, little Easter eggs to allow you to sort of expand beyond that. And when you do that, then you come, let me just type that in, come to realize that, right, hang on, Aristarchus of Samos. Let me just share my screen here. Share screen. I probably haven't spoken enough about this on my own hangout, but as I say, I'm coming off speaking about it on this guy. I never met before. He seems okay, but I mean, I'm not sure yet. Team Skeptic David, his hangout, and as I said, all of these different characters are there. And I was presenting some information about this in a very difficult sense, because I was being resisted at every point. But yeah, no one has ever heard of Aristarchus of Samos in terms of flat Earth, and very few have. So here we have Aristarchus of Samos. 310 to 230, we do the math there, we have 80, right? So there's our 8. Anyone frequently listening to what I've had to say knows the significance of the 8. It's the twisted zeros, the alpha, the omega. And of course, the 8 is to be found at the heart of crater Aristarchus. This tells us, yeah, that we're dealing with the 0 and the infinity. Anyway, he was an ancient Greek astronomer, a mathematician who presented the first known model that placed the sun at the center of the universe. You're going to go, hang on, again, that's Copernicus. No. So, yeah, once we get to a certain point, then we'll see the significance within the narrative. So if the sun is the center, Aristarchus is a crater on the moon, right? This is how we get back to this. But the moon has been described as the most mysterious object in the universe. And on the moon itself, the most mysterious object has been crater Aristarchus, right? It tends to change luminosity and it glows every now and again. And yeah, it's indeed very mysterious indeed. So when we find Aristarchus of Samos was the first to put the sun at the center of the universe, and we realize that Aristarchus itself, as we see it in reflected form from the moon, is the sun. We also see this from the sun, but that's for a different matter. Then we can see the sort of the clue within the name. So we have Aristarchus, the son of Samos. So we can say son of Sam, right? Anyone who doesn't know about the son of Sam, let me type that in. Actually, this will do myself some good. Son of Sam. This will do myself some good to do a little bit of reading about this. The Beatles mentioned this. Charles Manson. I think this is maybe not Charles Manson. Brought into. Actually, it'd be very interesting to look at this story now. Okay, so anyway, David Richard Berowitz, known also as the Son of Sam and the 44 caliber killer, is an American serial killer pleaded guilty to 8. Here we go with their 8 again, right? I'm just reading this for the first time now. I knew the Beatles were attached to the Son of Sam, and there was some connections there. So we know that this is all a narrative. This guy didn't exist as a serial killer. Anyone thinks that a lot of these serial killers are real, I dare you to just go read the Wikipedia page from top to bottom of Jeffrey Dahmer. By the time you get to the bottom of it, you'll be laughing your arse off, right? So again, they put it in plain sight. So if you're not smart enough to read to the end, first of all, and second of all, to know when your chain is being yanked, well, that's not anyone else's fault, right? You just haven't made that leap within this challenge, if you will, or this hunt, this treasure hunt. Okay, I'm going to have to read about that later on, but that was my immediate association. Aristarchus is the son, so here we have the Son of Sam, and I'm going to read that in private, and I bet you loads of clues will turn up. Just at 8 already, he's accused of murdering 8. Tells us that, yeah, there's lots to be decoded within this. But yeah, that's Aristarchus of Samos, and purposefully he has made a more prominent figure. What is it? 2000, not 2000, maybe 1500, 1800 years before Copernicus, right? So yeah, the truth can't be spoon fed you. You have to make your own way along the path with help along the way. So yeah, that's fine. Let me just go back to, in case anyone was after catching my attention in chat and said, great, Pete's here to answer a question or two. Yeah, okay, let me just continue to say hello. Debbie, yeah, so that's why I veered off there, Debbie. I was talking about all this stuff, and it's a better forum or format to sort of just expand upon it at a different time on my own hangout here and give you an update of where my understanding and thinking is at. So as I said, this was an impromptu hangout. Okay, so Shumanat, my sore ribs. Shumanati, how you doing, man? What a character you are, right? Everybody loves Shumanati, but they don't know why. Shit, or at least others know better than I do anyway. I'm not too au fait with the whole situation. There's a whole lot of personal relationships going on in the, if you want to invert the commas, the Boulder camp. They're all flat earthers, by the way, if you didn't know that. But yeah, as I say, once you get to Aristarchus, literally, honestly, yeah, flat earth sort of becomes irrelevant. It becomes irrelevant. I've always said that we live in a sort of a realm. Once you get to flat earth, you have to entertain the whole idea of a sort of magic, in a sense, a magical realm. The laws of nature don't sort of apply anymore. And in one sense, you know, the scientific determinism and the rigid structures to their inquiry are still useful, but they can't be relied on completely. So, yeah, Andres, how you doing, man? You said Pete knows his do re mi. Unfortunately, he's stuck at the do for now. Right? Well, the whole scale. I've been saying everything is about frequency and vibration. So we look at the music scales. It goes from do to do, right? Do re mi fa sol la ti do. Back down. I was going to try back down. I was sure to make a mistake there, but yeah, do to do. So there we have the do, and everything is about frequency and vibration. Light is an effect. So this is where it comes into its own. Light is an effect, and it's caused by these frequencies and vibrations as they interact with the water particulation. This is what we're seeing. This is what we experience as light. I've often compared sort of sunlight, if you will, to sonoluminescence, right? So the bubble, star in a jar, right? So when you bombard a bubble with solar frequencies, at a certain frequency, the bubble will appear to implode and explode with vast amount of energy as it, only for milliseconds, I believe, expresses in the form of a huge, not a huge, but something blinding, intense light. So we can say there that light is the effect, right? It's not within the cause itself, or it's not within the source itself. This is what we have to understand. This is where our clues come from in physics as well, when they tell us light is both a particle and a wave. Well, it is, right? So if we think about what the component parts of light are, you need the water particulation, and then you need the energy source, right? The wave source. And this is Aristarchus, and it's this interaction, this sonoluminescence on a sort of a mass scale of all the water particulates. I mean, think about a water drop, how much can you keep cutting it in half until it stops becoming water. So we can think about tiny infinitesimal particulations, right? So when you imagine the sun's energy coming around, you can imagine these particles exploding on a mass scale. This is what I call light. So light is an effect, and it's not within the source itself. So yeah, do, re, mi, yeah, it's all about frequency and vibration, and we can learn to increase our own frequency or decrease, for that matter. You can go both ways and sort of feel different effects. This is the idea. You can overcome this force that we're under. This is how a butterfly flies, right? Not a butterfly, a bumblebee flies. It's a bumblebee, and bees are revered within the Masonic secret society artwork, if you will. Yeah, it's all referencing frequency and vibration. So a bumblebee levitates, if you will. It creates its own frequency, and it sort of cancels out the prevailing frequency, which is, I've come with a source for that as well. I mean, you know, we're in a broken system. You might laugh at the idea of giant trees, but for certain giant trees which were decapitated. Now, I think it's all part of the sort of the simulation story. Sort of has to be, in one sense, if we're greater beings. But once we understand that the source, the energy source, is still constant, but it's just the distribution system has been destroyed. So we're living under this broken system, and we're living under this force that was never meant for us. By increasing our frequency, we can sort of adapt, and who knows what ultimately we're capable of. That's how I think the bees, wasps, etc., navigate. They have been recorded traveling in a crosswind of 30 miles an hour at 30 miles an hour in a straight line. So obviously this is sort of impossible according to all known physics, but when we think in terms of frequency and vibration, our direction of thought changes. So yeah, Drax says, Peter lowers the bar for musicians. I'm not great at singing other people's songs. I sort of generally do my own songs when I'm here myself. But some of these songs I like, and as I said, I've been busking recently as well. And it's great to get out there and sort of sing loud and proud, right? And as I said, when you sort of appreciate more €5 or €2 or €10 or something, it makes all the difference. But ultimately, it's good. So it doesn't matter if someone thinks I'm okay or good or bad. It's fine with me. I can't let that affect my my thinking when I pick up the guitar to play a bit of music. Right. After all, I'm just here with the dog. Well, the dog is oversleep after his pig's ear. So yeah, I just do what I do. Generally, yeah. Work on my own songs. One song I'm going to work on. I'll actually play it for you now. I'll actually play it for you. Let me just get the words. What I'm going to do is change the lyrics. And okay, there we go. See if I can manage it here. Yeah, I should be able to manage it. Keep down a bit low. I won't use any guitar or any plectrum. So what I'm going to do is change the lyrics to Aristarchus, right? But anyone who knows the song. So I'll put a bunch of lyrics together, appropriate lyrics as well. So, and maybe play the whole thing to a video that I should put out, maybe a 5-minute video or something. So yeah, yeah, it's one of those things as well. I'd be probably best putting lyrics to it myself. I mean, it'd be great to sort of make a suggestion to the chat, but yeah, it's the original song is Mona Lisa by Nat King Cole, so I'll just give that a go now. And perfect cadence for like Mona Lisa, men have named you. You're so, you're, hang on, sorry. Okay. Mona Lisa, men have named you. You're so like the lady with the mystic smile. Is it only 'cause you're lonely they have blamed you for that Mona Lisa strangeness in your smile? Do you smile to tempt a lover, Mona Lisa? Or is this your way to hide a broken heart? Many dreams have been brought to your doorstep. They just lie there, and they die there. Are you warm? Are you real, Mona Lisa? Or just a cold and lonely, lovely work of art? Do you smile to tempt a lover, Mona Lisa? Or is this your way to hide a broken heart? Many dreams have been brought to your doorstep. They just lie there, and they die there. Are you warm? Are you real, Mona Lisa? Or just a cold and lonely, lovely work of art? Mona Lisa, Mona, I'm not gonna get that high. Lisa. Lovely song. There's another repeated verse inside there, but Aristarchus. So that's the idea. So maybe make a 5-minute video which will sum so much up. So and have that little background variation to the tune with my own lyrics thrown in there. So I'll have to get going on that. So let me get rid of that. Yeah, so anyway, hey, yeah, how you doing, Twidwed? Good to see you. You can play music, yeah, you're still crazy. Yeah, well, one man's crazy is another man's, well, you name it. P Mars, how you doing, P Mars? Good to see you, man. Cigar Face, long time. You well? Okay, Don, agriculture is power. How you doing? Sovereign Gamer, good man. Philip Weinberg, Pete equals TP. Well, I can't deny that, right? Oh yeah, that's what I started off about, anagrams, and yeah, Aristarchus itself is Christ's aura. It's a perfect anagram as well. And you know, when we sort of enter our sort of thinking phase, or conspiracy phase, if you will, we question the whole idea of religion, and we soon get to the idea that Jesus never existed, right? And in fact represents the sun. Well, this is true, you know, but this is just another layer. We can go beyond that. This isn't about sun worship, right? It's much more than that, because you see, Aristarchus is not just the sun, it's the moon, it's the stars. The clue for us is Polaris. Everything revolves around Polaris, Polaristarchus, right? This is not incidental. I'm not just like making uncanny or, you know, weird connections that I have absolutely no right to. No. Aristarchus is Christ's aura. AU is gold, the international chemical symbol for gold, and RA is Ra, which is associated with the sun. So there we have Christ's gold sun for Aristarchus, and well, you know, this is the ultimate pointer to us. Christ is within, Christ is without, Christ is everywhere, and this is, as I say, Aristarchus. It's the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets. As we look on to the hall of mirrors that is the reflective surface, contoured surface above us. It's the earth itself. It's expressed throughout in terms of, we can see the patterns emanating from the clouds, and then, as I say, everything also, we have to go inwards, right? And our bodies are amazing creations. We've just forgotten their true potential, and we've been sort of treating them absolutely wrongly. So yeah, this is where Aristarchus comes into it as well, and it gets much deeper than that. It comes back to this fractal nature of everything, and of course our own existence is fractal in a sense. You know, our father meets our mother, whose father had met their mother, sperm meets egg. It's all connected. This is why the penis is worshipped, or the vagina is worshipped, because these are all vital aspects of our existence, right? But they're all pointing us towards greater truths. And as I say, Aristarchus is that truth for me. And well, I know as well, that's how confident I am. I know that anything that I can say, anything that I will say, it will be provable. And this is the great thing about it. It will be absolutely provable. My own sort of way, I proved it enough to myself. So as I say, where from here, I don't know. We'll take that in our stride. Okay. So Sovereign Gamer says, Cat Earth doesn't even have any respect for himself, and yet he's putting himself out there like this. He's a good bully, right? Well, you know, as I say, it's all an act. Sovereign Gamer, anyone sort of coming in confused there and trying to see who's genuine, who isn't, I think it's quite clear, you know. But let me point out and reiterate again that the reason why Cat Earth agreed to come on the hangout, and the only purpose for the hangout, was that he could continue on being so nasty to me, so personal to me, on camera, where he can look at a man in his face and continue on with this barrage of hatred, seeming hatred, and downright sort of nastiness in some sense, picking potentially the most sort of effective area to attack, you know, the most emotional or the most personal area to attack, and doing that, not looking into a man's eyes. I made not the wager, I made a challenge to him to come on and continue on this type of talk on air, on camera. And well, he did come on camera, but he didn't continue on the type of talk. He was a bit antagonistic, but as I say, compared to how he was, as anyone, Debbie, you'll be able to agree, if you watch, or anyone else who's watched, he toned it right down from maybe an 8 or 9 down to maybe a 2 or 3. But yeah, transparent, no problem, seeing right through him. And well, you know, maybe you learned something from that exchange. Made a right pig's ear of that. I wonder why. I wonder why that expression came into being. Def certainly seems to like pig's ears. You know, he actually drools over them. So there's good eating in them, and they're pretty cheap as well. So I wonder where that expression came from. And who's that? Non-schooling. Non-schooling says, "Don't waste your time with this drunk, Pete Che." Oh, sorry. Okay, non-schooling. I beg your pardon. I read that incorrectly. You're talking about Alex being a drunk, because I certainly haven't had a drink. So you're saying to me as an instruction, don't waste my time with this drunk. Okay, yeah. I think I went through the reasons there why I had Alex on. And in fairness, he's due a bit of credit for showing his face, but he also credit has to be taken away from him because he didn't continue on his unreasonable and downright nasty barrage against me, which was the challenge in the first place. So yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. And yeah, Jonathan Doherty, how you doing, man? You did great on the Skeptic channel. They were tough wide. Well, look, as I say, any new ideas, you have to give them a chance. You have, first of all, to give the idea an opportunity to be expressed, right? Before you're jumping in at every sentence. And then you can formulate your criticisms based on being in possession of the full picture, you know, and this is what they continually fail to do. But as I said, Jonathan, I'm fearless in this because I am way ahead of them, right? So any investigation they choose to do now, and especially with their skills, right? They have great skills that I must say I would kill for. But if I did have those skills, I'd be knocking out videos by the new time, and I'd be doing it properly. You know, I would be taking overlays and I would be lining it up, showing that we're indeed have, if not quite a perfect match, an absolute certainty that we're dealing with the same thing, expressing, but we're just sort of looking at it from slightly skewed angles, right? So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Not next time. They sort of want me to prepare something better. Anyone knows me here, I'm shit at preparing stuff, but because I have to make a video anyway, I might put a bit of effort into it. And well, as I say, I can sort of rest safely as well, knowing that anything that I suggest, I know it's true, and I know that with sufficient research and effort, that any investigator will find the same. That's how confident I am. It's an amazing sort of realization as well that when you look at the moon, you're looking at one crater expressing. It's just the same thing in like a hall of mirrors, right? Think of a hall of mirrors and the different patterns that express from the one source, which is you, right? Against the contours, you can get all manner of effects. So this is what's happening, and as I say, I'm absolutely certain of this. These things are known as well, and yeah, I look forward to. I did warn them. I did warn the likes of Sean Huffer. Don't be too harsh in your judgments because you might end up with egg in your face. And indeed, there's no might about it from my point of view because I'm so confident with these finds. There's a big thing to consider, as I say. I mean, this is my own pathway, and I guess what the big starting point. I was all connected, but one big sort of pivotal point was the Milky Way on the moon. Right, so when I satisfied myself that was the case, then you move on from there and you sort of develop from there. So yeah, we're looking at the same thing, espressen, and as I say, Aristarchus is the ultimate answer. Now come the questions from you, and let me just bring that up while I'm here, just to give you a taste if you haven't considered this. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. If you haven't considered, let me share my whole screen actually. Just go through some of the pictures. I know I stay on for a bit longer, right? But just to sort of get a little bit of what I was talking about there on what Team Skeptic, which they were anything but skeptic. They were believers. You know, this is the irony of it all. They were absolute believers, religious zealots in one sense, and any new idea, if it doesn't gel with their belief, well, then it goes out the window, or at least it's subject to interruption or extreme derision, right? But let me just say about Aristarchus here. This is Aristarchus, and it's a high definition picture. You don't have to trust this particular picture particularly, but you will find any high definition picture will show up the same thing from different angles as well. And you know, even different pictures of Aristarchus, which claim to be the same thing, will sort of show up slightly different. So you have to use a little bit of patience and a little bit of sort of mental gymnastics in terms of when you are comparing any other crater to Aristarchus. You understand that you're looking at it from a different sort of position, a different size, different magnification, different fractal sort of setting. But yeah, this is Aristarchus, and it is the wonder of wonders because once you start looking at this, man, there is no getting away lightly from it anyway, or easily from it. It's amazing. And as I say, everything here, you know, if I was to say, for instance, in this pattern that's expressed, or in this, what are you going to call it, an object? It's not an object. When we look at the moon and we're looking at Aristarchus, we're looking at a reflection of what actually turns out to be the face of the sun, but the sun itself is Aristarchus. Polaris is Aristarchus, but it's the same thing expressing. So when we look at this, you need to think about yeah, we're looking at, first of all, at a reflection. There's a reflection of some solidity, right? But this is the point. This is why everything sort of seems solid, because we're looking at a kaleidoscopic effect in sort of 4K, if you will, of a reflection of a primary sort of source, and the source is Aristarchus. The best way I can sort of understand it or describe it at the minute, doesn't look like a decapitated tree, right? It looks like you're looking down on the stump of a tree. So for me, the decapitated tree of life, that sounds okay, but it's just a provisional sort of name for it. There's so many wonders to behold in this when you look at it. But like, your first sort of port of call is to just ask yourself, what am I seeing here? Okay, let me have a look at what I'm seeing here. And when you do that, when you ask that question, you'll find so many things. Let me point out a couple of things for you. For instance, that goes up there, open. Point out a few things. Just right. I hope you can still see my screen. Here's the all-seeing eye here. Let me point to it. Here it is. Let me just change that to red. This is the all-seeing eye here. This is what's reflected in the clouds. You can see this in the clouds. You can see this eye in the moon. We can compare that the next time. This is what you're looking at. See here, this is the serpent. This is the serpent tongue. Right, but that's not just to be found here. It's also to be found up here, right? Right. It's also to be found in fractal layers all the way down. So what you're looking at is you're looking into the heart of infinity. Every layer is a fractal. They said that wasn't a good word tonight to use, but I'm happy enough with that. Every layer is a replication of the layer above and below it, right? And you're going all the way into infinity. The first question you have to ask yourself is, am I looking inwards here? I'll show you a great illusion in a second. Am I looking inwards here, or am I looking at something that's extended? A few other things you point out of great significance. First of all, we have the 8 here. This is where the significance of the 8 comes into things. It's the twisted 0, it's the alpha and the omega, right? It's the Aristarchus, right? So this is the key to us. But if we look at, in another sense, we can also see the G. This is the Masonic G, right? You might go, Pete, you're clutching at straws. I'm not clutching at straws. I also pointed out this here, which is an ear, right? And I mentioned about anagrams. When you take earth and you put the bottom back letter to the top, to the front, well, then you have heart, right? When you keep doing that, when you do that again, then you have ear of TH, right? TH is the theta, which is, hang on, let me just do the theta. I can do the theta here. Theta is the 0 with the line across it and the 1. So this represents the material and the immaterial. The material is the 1, the countable. The 0 is, as I say, well, the 0 is the infinite. There's no distinction between both in sort of a real sense. And in well, actually, what would be the proper use of the word there? Aristarchusian manner. So, yeah, as we know, Carl Sagan described pi as the number of God. Well, it is because, in one sense, here we have the theta, right? So the relation between the diameter and the circumference is 3.14 to 1. Now, 3.14, when we multiply 3 by 14, we get 42. 42 backward. Well, first of all, Douglas Adams described 42 as being the ultimate answer to life, the universe, and everything. Well, it's not, right? They're not going to hand you the ultimate answer in the plate. But yeah, it's close enough. It's a big pointer to it. And it is, in another sense, 24 is 888, right? So here we have the 8 in the center, 3 is the magic number, and then we get 24. All of these things are showing us. If again, another picture of Aristarchus, we can see. I'll bring this up here. This is brilliant. Hopefully, all these are coming through. This is Aristarchus with its neighboring craters, right? Hang on, let me get to that out of the way. This is Aristarchus with its neighboring craters. Here we have crater Herodotus. Can someone say Herodotus? Now, straight away from this angle, can you see how this piece here, let me just open that and paint again. Yeah, that's better. Get rid of that. Just expand that. Okay, can you see how this part here almost seems to coincide? Hang on, let me just get that to red. I'm not going to go into too much detail here. These are just clues and indicators for us. That's not red, is it? White will do if red won't show. Okay, this aspect here, yeah. This aspect here almost line up, right? Well, that's not incidental. When you look at Herodotus, what you're looking at is Aristarchus, a reflected artifact of Aristarchus. So the outline here is the outline of Aristarchus. But here we have crater prints just down here, look. Here we have crater prints, and in another issue, hang on, there's a better image here. You can see here, this is the serpent's tongue I pointed out a little earlier on. But what I wanted you to look at here is, I think most of us would say that we're looking into a crater here, right? So I think we'd all agree on that. First of all, there's the Q. This is all there is, right? Let me just show you all there is. Okay, I'm just going to have to do it in white, and I'm just going to do it roughly. You can see the boundaries here. They go out like this, and then it repeats, right? So we come back up this way. This is all there is. When you look at the moon, you're looking at this section being repeated and reflected over and over again. And that's almost, if I turn that around, I'm going to turn it around in a second. But if I turn it around, you'll see the Q, right? You can always make out the Q there. So this is where the Q for Queen comes in. And isn't it funny that we have the prince here? Aristarchus is the king, right? Christ is the king. So we have the king, the queen, and the prince. This is literally named crater Prince. But look at it here, smooth as anything. This is an impact crater. Where is the debris? Where is the sort of the huge explosion and the huge displacement of the solidity of the moon? There's none there. These are reflected artifacts, right? And so this is looking into the heart of Aristarchus. You would swear, wouldn't you, that that's going in? I think it's this one. You would swear that that is a distended sort of image here. We're looking inwards into a crater. Again, we can see the 8 here. But look what happens if I rotate it around. I'll do it 91st right. Right, hang on. So I'll do it 91st right, and now I'll do it 90 again. Now look at it. Now look at it from a different angle. Wouldn't you swear in your life now that that is extending outwards? This is what it means to be the alpha and the omega. We have infinity in both directions. And you have got to decide which is which. And that's not going to be an easy task for you. You're definitely going to have to get your mind around it. Look how artificial this looks here. That's because these, would you believe that all of these, this bigger one, this smaller one here, the tinier one here, is all the same thing. It's all Aristarchus, all refracted artifacts. And again, here we can see the main, just before it reflects upon itself, here it is reflecting again, right? But just before it reflects upon itself. And as you start here, right, as you start here and come around to this part, you're also starting back up here and coming down to this part. So it's a little bit difficult to get your mind around, but there's essentially our Q, right, for queen. Right, this is where I think channel Q gets her name. But yeah, anyway, the Masonic G, I pointed out the 8, the significance of the 8. You can find the all-seeing eye within here, as I said, the Milky Way. All of the star systems are to be found in the heart of Aristarchus. I'll point you out, just use a little pointer to show you how that is the case on a close-up. So for instance, inside here, you can zoom in, no matter where you zoom in, so you're looking right down into the same fractal all the way down. Get the best high-definition picture you can and prepared to be flabbergasted. If we look at, I think I turned this picture around now, did I? Look at all these dots and spots around here. This is the this is the Orion's belt here. Sorry, there's three stars in a row. Maybe it's not there now. Hang on, let me zoom out. Some craters are better than others for spotting these details and for mapping these details. But what you got to get brain around is you're dealing with a fractal reality here. This is a reflection of the fractal reality. And not only do you see the Milky Way once on the moon, or twice, as I thought, you can see it an infinite number of times. We're just dealing with light artifacts, but again, in a sort of a zero and an infinite sort of sense. I'll just take a little break a second and speak for a little bit longer. Let me just get you to look at that for a few minutes if you want. I'm not trying to hypnotize or influence anybody. This is there before us. Again, this is described as the most mysterious object on the most mysterious object, Aristarchus on the moon. So, okay. Once you get a grasp of what's going on here, you will be truly and absolutely amazed. As I said, you got to sort of adjust your eyes. Here we go again. This is the, look at me zoom in. This is the serpent. This is the NASA serpent, right? So you get lost in the conspiracy. Look at them, they're devil worshippers, all this sort of stuff. No. This is all pointing you to aspects of Aristarchus. Everything. This is why I say it's the ultimate answer, because as I say, it's not just that it applies to the earth and the sky and the atmosphere, the air. It's because it extends all the way and applies to us, our very beings. and the composition of us, right? I get the Christ within, Aristarchus, Christ's aura. But yeah, when you take your time and look into it, yeah, you're going to see this fractal effect. And it doesn't look like a scene of destruction, actually, doesn't it? Looks like a massive scene of destruction, as I said, with the superficial view that we're looking at a decapitated tree here. So these things are pertinent. And yeah, we are dealing with destruction. I've often said it, that we are in a broken system under a state of repair. So yeah, is it part of assimilation? Is it part of reality? Well, I guess it's the best reality we have, right? Best idea of reality. But yeah, as I say, it's far more wondrous. It absolutely is a wonderland. The true nature of our being, our existence, and our home is absolutely magical, mystery, mysterious, beyond measure, I would say. So yeah, that's pretty much what I was talking about a bit tonight. And yeah, yeah, I'm sort of well into thinking about it now, and I see that the clues are everywhere for us, you know. You see, look at this here. This is Aristarchus. This just shows you here. Look at this. It's like a crater here. We have a mini crater. What is it doing? It's just this mini crater made a hole in Aristarchus within the crater. This is the fractal nature of things. What you're looking at here is a mini Aristarchus, right? And that will have its refracted Aristarchuses around it then as well. It's amazing. And all the way down, it's Aristarchus all the way. All of these dots, every dot you see is Aristarchus in a fractal sense. It's a lot to get your head around, you know, but you can see the pattern here. Look, small, bigger, any of the craters you choose to look at. You can see these little, what I call them acorns, because they grow into giant oaks, right? You can see them at every scale, right? They're tiny, they're massive, and the moon is a great source of truth in that sense. Stanley Kubrick with 2001: A Space Odyssey, when the apes encountered the monolith, first of all, the head ape was named Moon Watcher. I didn't know this until it was detailed in the book. We wouldn't get that from the film, obviously. Moon Watcher, or maybe you would by the credits, but I didn't know that anyway. So there's a clue. If we look at the moon, then we can decode this stuff. But it also found the monolith, which allowed sort of for advancement within a crater. And I've already did that comparison, the crater itself as well. You guessed it, yeah, Aristarchus. So Stanley Kubrick's clue to us. So yeah, these answers are already known, and I guess you're either an insider, right, whereas you're privy to the solution at the start, or maybe you've worked your way through it, and then you can sort of play your role in sort of presenting it in your cryptic way to others, or presenting clues to others, or maybe you're just born into a certain way of life and way of thinking. I've always said that there's two different realities at least, right? We are the plebs, we are the outsiders, and then there's the insiders who are probably born told the truth, and then they consent to playing their role within, yeah, as I say, the greater game. And then there's the honest truth seekers, right? So there's those who sort of set up the puzzle in one sense, and there's those who tackle it and try to solve it. So for me, all roads lead to Aristarchus, and well, I can talk much more about that. Stanley Kubrick is just one evidence, and of course, Stanley Kubrick, the monolith, ties into 2001, biggest event in WTC centers. No one died in 9/11. It's all symbolic. It was a safe demolition. We can't take these things literally. We look at the narratives for clues, and well, yeah, Stanley Kubrick's 2001, when all the rest of the buildings, the whole WTC center, the material center of the earth, right? When they were taken down, there you had the monolith in the form of the Millennium Hilton Hotel left in its place when viewed across the Hudson River. So there's a deep connection to 9/11, 2001, Stanley Kubrick, Aristarchus. Well, that's just the beginning, right? There's much more than that. So I don't think I'll say much more tonight. Just go back into chat briefly. I could go on for ages, right? Oh, well, let me just go back to this again. Again, freely available. But look how it extends now. Let me just go back. You'd swear that it extends, right? You would swear that that's coming out, you know, so that you start at the top and then you're going back in, right? But if we just reverse it back, There you go, back again. Distended, extended, right? This is what I'm saying, and here we go. We can see it clearly. We would clearly say that that is making its way into the picture. This is the wonder of it. This is why it's the 0 and the infinity. And, well, as I say, all of this stuff here, reflected artifacts. This is Aristarchus, right? This is Aristarchus expressing. This is a remnant of Aristarchus. This is Aristarchus here, which is Herodotus. Prince is Aristarchus. Where is that? Down here, etc. This is just, I don't know, it's a component of it, right? You want to put it like that, but reflective components, artifacts, visual artifacts, optical artifacts of a main source, which is, well, what are you going to call that? I'm happy enough, again, the decapitated tree of life. Jesus was a carpenter, right? Christ. So, yeah, I think I'll leave it there for tonight. Let me just see what other pictures I have, actually, before I quit. Oh, hang on. Yeah, it is perfect. Look at this. Remember I was showing you the eye providence? The all-seeing eye? Well, lo and behold, you all recognize this, right? Everyone recognizes what that is. That's not any trickery. There's the moon. I'll show you a few interesting things on the moon. There's Aristarchus here. That's all there is. Every crater, every little dot you see is the same thing. Aristarchus is expressing. See these black spots here? If I was to say to you that this black spot is equivalent to this black spot down here on a different scale. This black spot here is Herodotus. Let me just, I can just zoom this down. So I'm just going through other pictures. But yeah, remember I was talking about the all-seeing eye? Here we go. Look at that. Now, so let me just bring up the other picture where I pointed it out. Here we go. So this eye here, and look at Aristarchus right next to it. Here, this eye here, let me zoom in. The all-seeing eye. These can be seen in the clouds as well. Here we go. Is this one here. Look. Now you might go, well, there's a vague similarity here. Well, I'm not going to get into too much detail here. Yeah, it's more than a vague similarity. One is an expression of the other. And this is what we call an all-seeing eye. It's fractal as well, right? It's fractal all the way up. When we go to the, oh yeah, that's another great, let me just go to there briefly because I have that picture up as well. I think. I must have got rid of that. I'll bring that up again because I was talking about that earlier on. There's the flat Earth map. It just needs to be sort of reorientated. But what do we see at the very center? Here we go. Ah, look at that. The all-seeing eye. The all-seeing eye. This is the Oculus mosaic to be found beneath the WTC Center in New York, in Chambers Street Tube Station, Chambers of the Heart. And, well, you know, it's very specific and very, very, the name aptly chosen, the Oculus mosaic, right? So that's the eye that I take it this is referencing. And that eye is to be found in Aristarchus, which is here. And you can see it matches up. You can even see the pattern around it. Look, this can all be matched up. Look, this pattern here, down to this pattern here. But again, we have to remember that we're dealing with fractals, right? So it's eyes all the way down, right? But that's a little bit deep, and yeah, probably best to sort of summed up in a short video. So this is the area we're into, and yeah, that's a picture I was talking about earlier on. That's more stuff. Let me just go through the rest of them. I was going to bring this up earlier on. I was going to ask them, well, there's a better example there, to identify the true horizon. And if we look closely, we can see that it sort of backs up in itself, and everything below a certain point is a mirror of everything above a certain point. That certain point is not there now. That's not a good example. The picture itself is not a good example, but better ones. Everything is mirrored through a certain mirror line, and this is the ultimate horizon, right? The ball earthers will tell you you're dealing with refraction, illusions, mirages, etc. No, you're dealing with mirrored water, dealing with looking out at water over zoom, over distance, with light, And we know that light water has overcompression. So you're talking about many miles being compressed into a small number of pixels. Then this mirrored effect sets itself up, and it's most apparent in the sunrise and sunset on proper days, you know, proper light conditions. And then you can see it every time. And this is our true horizon, and extends many, many miles at eye level into the distance, which automatically disproves a spinning, well, a ball of given dimensions anyway. So that's that. Let me just get rid of something else. Yeah, I could talk about so much stuff, right? Yeah, there's Aristarchus again. Yeah, we're into that. Oh well, let's just remember I was saying as above. Well, I was saying as within, so without. But I also said that Aristarchus is the sky, the atmosphere, and the land. Here's a crater on Easter Island, so we can compare this crater with Aristarchus in the center, with Herodotus here. And we can find, with time, with a little bit of patience, that we're looking at the same thing expressing. So this is how it extends onto land. A better example than this is crater Barringer in Arizona. And it really is, and I have a better comparison made with Aristarchus. And it really is, let me just bring up that picture briefly to show you the picture I made the comparison with. Here we go. I think it's this one. Yeah, here we go. Aristarchus satellite crater. So this is a great quality it retains as well as we're zooming in. Yeah, here now you can see this expression here. Let me just bring up the moon a second and I'll show you what that is. Here's the moon. Right there. Actually, that's a shitty picture. Someone posted that and said, how come I can't see the eye on that? Well, as I said, look, when you zoom in, it loses clarity completely, right? So that's no good for us. We need high definition pictures. But as we go with my picture of the moon, there's the eye there. Look, I have the capability of zooming right in, and it doesn't lose much of its clarity. But yeah, when we look at prints there, we're looking at this. Let me just rotate that around. Image. Rotate left 90 degrees. Here we go. See the pattern here? What is known as the bunny ears, right? Here's the same pattern here. This is what it is here, and this pattern here is also sort of reflected. You can see it's a smaller size in here, and this is what this is. Now you might say it doesn't look like an exact match, but yeah. Remember, we have overlaying, overlapping, repeating, and we have to sort of take apart the components. And when we do, we have the same component, as I said, repeating and overlapping. Look at this here. Look, for instance, this is called Aristarchus D. But look at it. Look at it. Look at prints here, for instance. They say that this is a crater separate. But where's the impact? Where is all the disruption of the soil, or whatever you want to call it, the dirt? There's none there. These are reflected artifacts. And look at how artificial they actually look. Same with this one here. Look at this. Yeah. Artificial overlays, illusions. These are the true illusions. We're dealing with light artifacts, and yeah, a lot to take in. A lot to take in. That all you're looking at is this here. Literally, what I'm circling now. That's all you're looking at, repeating again and again. We can see the pattern here. This is Herodotus. Dark shade here, dark shade here. And as you go to the other side of Herodotus, and then you enter back into this side again, it's amazing. It really is amazing. Yeah, look at Visala here. Look again, this is acorn. This is just simply the crater being reflected, the same crater being reflected, and this Vasily Shroteri is like a Cobra Valley, I think they call it. This is just the boundary between different reflections of the same thing, which is Aristarchus. So yeah, that's one thing I can talk about again. Everything's to be found on the moon. It's all Aristarchus. Here we have a great view. Here we have a great view of it. And as I say, there's Aristarchus. There is Herodotus. And there is, I don't think that's Crater Prince, actually. That's one of the other ones, the more adjacent one. But they're overlays, right? They're overlays. Here's Aristarchus as well. Every one of them are, that's Aristarchus. This is Aristarchus. They're all the same thing. All the same thing. Tycho here is Aristarchus, right? It doesn't look like it, But Tycho here is Aristarchus, which is the sun. Copernicus is Aristarchus, which is up here. There's Copernicus, which is the sun as well. This, would you believe, is the same as this, right? This is the same as this when viewed from just a different positioning. If you imagine, if you imagine a kaleidoscopic effect as well, and we're dealing with a contoured mirror, we're going to get all manner of expressions, right? Big, small, little and large. These emanating patterns, when you look at the sun above the atmosphere, you can see these patterns, these shard-like patterns. They're to be clarified that they're the same patterns. One is upside down from the other, but ultimately it comes back to the pattern here emanating from, well, here's Aristarchus. Look, this is Aristarchus here, and here you can see the same pattern, right? Everything is just, here's Prince as it reflects out, and yeah, here's Herodotus, right? It's the same thing. If we go to the other side of the moon, these were early on sort of realizations. If we go to the other side of the moon, because I knew that, let me just show you here now. I'm sorry now. So I knew that this was a mirror image of this. Then we should find Aristarchus on this side as well. And when we do, when we go and zoom in, well, that's exactly what we find. Here we go. We're getting a different view of it. Look, there's Aristarchus here, right? And here's the crater behind, Herodotus, and some of the adjacent artifacts. But again, once again, remember, all there is just the one Aristarchus. Same Aristarchus here. Every crater you see and that's detailed as a distinct and a disparate crater is not. And I can stand behind that 100%. I might be able to sort of present the case better, but in terms of the knowledge, it's there. And when you go down here, it's the exact same thing. At this corner here we have Aristarchus, and the other things are maybe not so clear, but you can verify that it's the same thing because you have associated patterns that are consistent. Just want to show you something here. I think this is amazing. Here we go. So here we go. Look at this. I wonder what this is like, and it's so uncannily, as if I haven't come across so many uncanny things. Let me go full screen. Look, I went through this last time as well, but look what I found here. So this is a high definition picture of the moon. As we zoom in, again, very good picture, served me very well. But as we zoom in, look at this. Now, can you see anything? See anything sticking out at you here? Anything sort of looking familiar? Remember, we're always looking for patterns. Any pattern that presents itself, the chances are we might spot it, especially sort of with bearing human characteristics. Well, when I saw this, I said, "What the fuck, man? Look at that!" Remember how much I'm zoomed in here now. Look at this. This is it here. Look at that, man. That is weird and crazy. I haven't found out what crater that is or what it's described as, but look at that. If that's not a face, if that's not a face of a man with a handlebar mustache, let me take that out. I don't know what is, right? But look at that. Look at that. So we know as well that this is Aristarchus as well, when viewed from a slightly different angle. But doesn't it look like let me just zoom out again. Doesn't it look exactly like the image of a man, right, with a mustache? So it's all these sort of trippy things found all over. But as I say, once again, every one of these craters, every one of them are not disparate. They're all the same thing, expressing, reflecting, refracting, repeating, artifacting, if that's a word. I mean, it's difficult to find the right sort of terminology and language. When we look at the moon here, we're looking at a reflection of the face of the sun, right? This is why it's like clockwork. You know, the sun moves around the contoured barrier. And when we take this into account, we can understand the phases of the moon and so much else besides. So, yeah, I can leave that there. But just zoom in again on that, right, just to show you where that is. You can find this yourself and wonder at it. What's going on here? What is that? Look at how uncanny that looks like. It's like, for me, I thought it was a cowboy at first glance, you know, a stereotypical picture of a cowboy in the Wild West. But look at the face here, right? And look at how much I'm zoomed in as well. No matter how much I zoom in, it looks like a face of a man, right? And there it is, just above Tycho. And in fact, it is Tycho. What we're looking at, once again, is the same crater expressing again and again. All of these craters are on the side of different sizes. Yeah, you can all trace back to the one source, which is Aristarchus, which is the solidity that we're looking at as it is reflected in the form of the moon. So I can leave that. We can leave that, and I think that's about it. Is it? I think that's about it. In terms of, oh yeah, there's another picture I was showing. So there's the sun above the atmosphere from high altitude balloon footage. Notice the shard-like pattern. Also think in terms of 3 dimensions. So we're looking at an energy source coming out of a crater, right? Now, if we compare that pattern, this is where Sean Hufford is going to embarrass himself because he was pushing me. First of all, he pushed me for a source for this. And as I said, you can find these on any high altitude balloon footages. But if you look at the pattern emanating, we can trace that, we can compare that to a lot of patterns here. Most especially this one is probably the best. But if we go back to the source, Aristarchus, we can see this jagged-like pattern here all the way around. Well, these match up. These match up, and not only does it match here at Aristarchus, it matches here. We can even see it. Look, at this crater here, we can see the shard-like pattern as it comes down. Same with Copernicus here. We can see the shard-like pattern as it goes in, just from a different angle, right? And it's the same with crater Tycho down here. See exactly the same pattern. And yeah, this is what I mean when I say we're looking at the same thing expressing again and again. So yeah, that's that. And yeah, that's about it. Let me just go through the last bit. Yeah, that's about it. So there's the all-seeing eye again reflected in on the moon, shown in the moon. Look at how uncanny that is. Hang on. Look at that, how uncanny that is. Okay, that's that. Now, whatever that. There we go. There we go. In the corner here. And I said, this is just on the moon. You can see this in the clouds. You might think I'm fucking crazy another, but you can see this in the clouds. This is why Aristarchus is ever expressing. And this is provable as well. This is the beauty of this. And you'll actually be able to go out tomorrow and find these things if you knew what you were looking for. So I think that's about it. I think I'll probably leave it there. And I might as well sing you out with my usual. So I hope everything's grand. And okay, Sean G, I'm not interested in that, man. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in talking to you, man. I don't want to talk to you. So if you're asking for a link to prove that you're, no, we already had it up before. I don't trust you, man, and I know your game. So yeah, you're not welcome here, and you know why. So I'm not willing to do that. What I want to talk about my own channel is far and away from what I know of you will ever consider. So you want to keep drawing me back into controversy that's already settled. I don't care if you know someone who witnessed 9/11 or whatever their story is. And the story is full of holes, right? So first of all, we have to examine all the evidence and then come to conclusions. And whether there was a staged affair that they threw dummies out the window to cater for the people who would have been around, why not? Why not? So whatever your wife or whatever your family saw, prove that it was real, right? So first of all, you have to investigate the possibility that we're dealing with a fakery extravaganza, and then take it from there. And you, someone as well researched as you definitely should have come across Clues Forum, Let's Roll Forum, many other sites as well. And if you haven't, well, I'm not willing to spend any time on that with you. Don't like you, man, and we can leave it there. So let me just go into. There we go, Parting Glass lyrics. We say thank you very much for everyone tuning in. Thank you to Cat Earth, I guess. And I think I proved my point, right? I think I definitely proved my point. It's more difficult to be downright sort of cruel and unusual with somebody face to face. And this is why so many of these characters remain anonymous and hide behind anonymity as nameless and faceless sort of mouthpieces. So let me go off that and sing the usual. changed the strings as well on the guitar, which they hadn't been changed in years, and it sounds good when you get it right. So anyway. Oh, of all the money that e'er I spent, I've spent it in good company. And all the harm that e'er I did, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done, that's a bit hard, for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass, good night, and joy be with you all. Probably do bring that down, semitone there. If I had money enough to spend, and leisure time to sit a while, there is a fair maid in town that so has my heart begun. Her rosy cheeks, ruby lips, I own she has my heart and soul. So fill to me the parting glass, good night, and joy be with you. Oh, the comrades that e'er I had, they are sorry for my going away. And all the sweethearts that e'er I had, they would wish me one more day to stay. Since it fall, I never had trouble getting to that height before. Unto my lot, that's I'm singing a bit low. That I should rise and you should not. I will gently rise and I'll softly call good night. Joy be with you. I will gently rise and I'll softly call good night, and joy be with you. Must have my guitar tuned up a little high. Anyway, good night, friends. Thank you for tuning in. I love you, Steve. I'll see you the next time. Okay.